We're live, and Lucan's donated towards a new watch. Little does he know, Cookie just murdered a mouse or two and threw it up on the couch. So Dan was cleaning that while
guys, we were ready
at 8 o'clock.
We were ready at 7:58. Some would say,
yeah,
by legal definition. And Sean and I are sitting here talking to Trey for just a minute, and both of us look over and just see, and then just on the couch, the new couch, and then Cookie jumps down and proceeds to vomit 2 other objects that had fur on them on the floor.
One was definitely a mouse. That was a solid
did
mouse.
You see that one?
Yeah.
So the other one looked identical to that one. Yeah. The one on the couch is just food, cat food.
You got too full.
Hey, also unchewed cat food.
Yeah, dude.
Fat cat.
Yeah.
Hey, man, we got all day you can chew. You know what I mean? There's plenty more. What an ass, dude. Needless to say.
Hey, killing mice for us, though. Good cap. Good cap.
Somewhere.
Outside.
He's like, what the hell just happened?
He's like, man, I am so hungry.
He's like, what the hell?
It was full.
If you guys can see him, his eyes are just freaking huge. But then I cleaned up the floor with vodka that Luke left here. Thank you, Luke, for sharing that with us, buddy.
He's hunting. He's prowling for more.
There's no mice in here.
Yeah, not anymore.
No.
2 left.
He finds them in that saloon.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, because I found a splayed squirrel. That's the 3rd mouse in theory, if that's what he's throwing.
What's it like having room in there again,
buddy? It's a life-changing experience. When I got back home after they were dropped off, I went, oh, what a beautiful moment.
Which building you put in?
The cold one.
Okay, that's what I figured.
We're gonna put them in the warm one, and my dad goes, so when we paint, we're gonna have to move them. He's like, the tractor's already here.
We're gonna clean everything. So
yeah. Needless to say. Well,
what's
hello, up, everybody.
How are you guys?
We're back.
How are you doing?
It's Tuesday, and it's Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's. Do you want a kiss?
Yeah.
Okay, deal. Onlydance.com for that.
Lots of tongue.
But thank you guys for coming to join us tonight on this fine evening. We obviously have Trey from Blue Run. Yeah. We're going to go over their new single barrel program, which the portal launched yesterday. If you guys haven't played in the portal, Trey will explain it to you, but it's super, super cool. It's freaking awesome. And they basically just recently, I think within the past week, publicly announced their single barrel program called Chosen. I don't know. You listen. Could I have been more excited in one moment in time that didn't have to do with a direct family member? And probably not. You know what's crazy about this?
You were more excited about that than the birth of your second child.
No. I was pretty excited for that one. Right. Honestly, what's interesting is I didn't know if Blue Run. None of us actually knew if Blue Run would ever do a single barrel program.
No,
and I'm such an external, I should say, because they do single barrels themselves. Yeah. But I obviously am a big Blue Run fanboy, and
if you watch any Monday reviews, you can see that in the top shelf.
You can behind us.
Happy Singles Awareness Day. You're welcome, Joe.
Here's the thing, dude. You can also be married on Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
you can do whichever one you want. It's kind of cool. Or you'd be dating.
You could do that.
You can do all those things.
Yeah,
it's happy whatever day you want it to be.
Don't be married and be dating though. Those usually don't go well.
Yeah, it's like the beer before liquor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but one ends in divorce.
Yeah,
whatever.
Same shit, different day. But all right, so we are going to real quick. Did you hear about the Oregon Liquor Commission getting caught faking state raffles and keeping the bottles? I heard about them keeping the bottles. I didn't know that they were faking the raffles. There were politicians in Oregon keeping bottles of Pappy and BTAC.
I'm shocked.
I had no idea that they were faking raffles, though. I didn't see that part. That's crazy. But yeah. I'm gonna drink the hell out of Blue Run tonight.
Not even shocked in the slightest.
This is what I wanted to tell you about something. I want to tell you this. We're gonna do this at some point with Trey.
Rip it at me.
At some point, because this will be somewhere around an hour and a half stream. At some point,
Trey just was like, "Whoa."
Trey was like, "I signed up for 3 minutes, man. Yeah. We're doing YouTube shorts."
He goes 10 an hour.
Cookie was on the Buffalo 1 second ago.
Okay, I kind of saw him in the
video. But what we're gonna do is at some point tonight we'll do like a Q&A from chat, so you guys can ask questions, and then we'll ask Trey those questions. And if Zach Jones posts in chat, he's banned forever. We know our community. We can ban. You're out, dude.
Both already on thin ice.
No way. Can't believe that. All right. So, needless to say, Trey, welcome to the stream, buddy. How are you, man?
Yo, what's up, fellas? I am doing really
Happy
well.
to have you
Really
here.
well. Super excited to be here. Yeah, super excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Yeah, no worries.
Thanks for coming on.
I'm wondering. So hold on one second. I gotta check the old thinger because either we're having internet issues or you may be.
Yeah, you look
One
a
of
little
us.
splotchy now.
I think there's a delay there.
Uh-oh.
Just a second.
Here, I'm not on the Wi-Fi, but my
I'm not
phone-
either.
Phone wasn't doing anything.
I'll check it.
Check it.
All
Check
right.
the
I
things.
think it may be. Looks like it's
It's
on
on my
your
end.
end on my phone. We'll see if it clears up.
Oh, that's a cat. This is said cat.
All right.
That is
I'm making sure that nothing else is going on my end either.
This is the perpetrator, #1 mouse eater in North
I will say
Michigan.
that was probably one of the most entertaining pre-shows that I've had the opportunity to hang out in the studio and wait for it to go. So thank you guys for the cat commentary. That was pretty entertaining.
We're
Yeah.
idiots, dude.
Yeah. I mean, I'm Cookie's feeling better now. If everyone
Yeah,
cares.
Cookie's fine now after 3 vomits. Cookie is all better.
made room, he's good now.
Cookie's gonna rehydrate and be good all night.
No whiskey for you tonight, buddy.
That is one of those things that happens, right? Even for us, you throw up and you feel better. So yeah, it's got to
Dude,
be
yeah.
a thing.
If you get motion sick and you vomit, within 30 seconds of
It's
vomiting,
clearing.
you are like, holy shit, I'm a new man. Like, it's
Oh,
wild, dude.
It's like a hit reset on Nintendo, right? Just game on.
Yeah, 100%, dude, without a doubt. Okay, so for those who don't know, Trey, I actually like you to tell everybody about your background pre-Blue Run before we get too deep in Blue Run stuff. But
Okay.
you just recently like joined Blue Run like from a public standpoint, right?
Yeah.
And then developed seemingly what's going to be a freaking awesome single barrel program.
Curated.
So, yeah.
Yeah, sweet man. So yeah, it's been fun. So for the past, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, I've been involved in the whiskey space in a couple different aspects, everything from blending and sensory to, I mean, at the basic level, you guys can see, like, first and foremost, I'm a curious consumer. I want to know everything I can about as many brands as I can. And so this room, much like you guys, is full of a bunch of cool bottles from a bunch of people that are doing awesome things in the whiskey space. And so for years now, I've gone around and traveled around the world and just figured out what I liked and try to get a good understanding of what was out there. And that's turned into different opportunities in the space, everything from, again, blending for folks, doing hundreds of private barrel selections for either groups or retailers or just anybody that was curious about what it looks like to have one of those. And now having the really cool pleasure to be running a program for, honestly, one of the most captivating brands, if I could use a word, in the space right now.
I think that's a good word. I think, I mean, at Blue Run launched whiskey, what, 2.5-ish years ago, something like that, right?
Yeah, October 2020 was our first bottle in market.
Dude, and like, I will say, whether people agree or disagree with, like, everybody wants value in whiskey, but whether you agree or disagree with the pricing structure of Blue Run, everybody knows about Blue Run, either way, right? Either side of the train tracks you're on, doesn't matter.
Yeah. Dropping a $51 million distillery will usually do that.
We'll also do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that also adds to the holy shitness of the whole thing.
And
Yeah.
getting Rutledge on.
Yeah. Yeah, come find out. And then when he makes a ride, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But so yeah, needless to say.
I see you didn't grab that, by the way.
I don't go anywhere without the old emerald, buddy.
That's fair.
I got the
It was
emerald.
turned. Never mind. My bad. My bad.
But yeah, man. Now, so you joined Blue Run, chief of curation. What's
Officer.
the actual title?
It's so funny. It's fun. I was like, all right, let me just throw some words at paper and see what sticks like spaghetti noodles.
Listen,
so
I used to be an engineer, not a real one.
No.
So
I'm glad you can admit that.
I like
You're bigger
titles
now.
a lot, honestly.
Chief Experience Curator is the title that I guess landed, and it was one of those things. 1 second, guys. My wife's she's not handling 2-year-old baby.
No worries, buddy.
It's like
It's all good. So yeah, Chief Experience Curator, and my role essentially is private barrel program, super curated events, right? So like wine and food festivals, anything else that's beyond just kind of like your private dinner that we'll do quite a bit of. And then we have some like corporate gifting and alignment programs that we're working on as well. So like say you have a business, instead of sending a bottle of wine to somebody, we're gonna dress up a bottle of Blue Run and send it to you. One of our core expressions outside of the single.
That's super cool. That's super cool.
So what drew you to Blue Run? Like specifically, like.
Yeah, so it's super cool. So a lot of folks, I've been in the background for a couple of years now. So in early 2020, I reached out to the Blue Run team, doing some projects for an organization called Black Bourbon Society, which I'm the VP of partnerships for. And so I'm essentially the conduit between a bunch of craft brands and that organization. And they were, literally they were hitting the webs, and I pay attention to what's going on. And shot them a note. We had a quick conversation, and next thing you know, there was a bottle at my door, and it completely caught me off guard. And it's actually over there. It happened to be like one of the very first bottles off the line, like
nice.
Single digit number. Tasted it and was obviously blown away. I mean, I drank a good bit of whiskey, especially from the distillery that those barrels came from, and I was like, "Holy fuck, this was." Can I say fuck on here? It's too late.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This is a really, really big swing coming out the gate, right?
Sure.
And learning about the folks behind the brand, first and foremost, made me super excited to just see what was possible, and opportunities that had presented themselves over the past couple of years for me to do sensory for some of the releases, including the 12 days from 2021. So the very first, those names are essentially my notes on the bottle.
That's awesome.
And it's just been one of those really healthy relationships, and we got to a place where it made sense to be able to bring more folks on, and I was one of those people that got to be brought on. So,
dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's super cool.
So now that you are brought on to Blue Run, like officially, publicly, are you still doing Black Bourbon Society? Are you still working there too?
Yeah, for sure. And that there's some value on both sides, right? So BBS is not like a whiskey entity. It's not a traditional bourbon group that just does barrel picks. It's exclusively focused on advancement of like DEI, like diversity and inclusion in the industry. So there's definitely some value and some symbiotic stuff going on there. And quite candidly, like if it wasn't for my existence in Blue Run or Black Bourbon Society, like I wouldn't be here. We have a group of thousands of people that have championed the brand. And so there's value adds, and the leaders of the organization both have really good understandings of the line between what I do here and what I do there. And so at the end of the day, like all ships rise with the tide. And so we're just trying to make sure that we make the entire community of whiskey a better place.
Yeah,
dude, that's fucking awesome. It's cool that both places were cool with that line, right? With like we get it. You got to do this. And they understand that we need you to do this part. Right. I don't know, like, something like we learned when we went to distilleries and stuff is everybody's so damn happy to work with distilleries and at distilleries. And like, when you're like come from a corporate environment and everybody wants to leave and is like, oh, it's fucking Monday. We hate it here. Right. Yeah. And then you go to a distillery and it's like Monday at the butt crack of dawn. And everybody there's like, are you guys having the best day you've ever had? You know what I mean? And I think what's cool is you don't, so many corporate senses, you're never allowed to work in like two spaces at one time. Because they're like, no, that's absorbing the time that we want from you.
You get to choose one.
Yeah. So that's really fucking cool that both sides are understanding in that fashion. But
yeah, and look, I'm an honest person about just like my bandwidth and my capabilities. And so going into both situations, I was like, guys, look, here's what I'm capable of, here's what I can and can't do. And the one of the best things about Blue Run, and truthfully one of the things that tipped the scale for me was the people, right? And folks like Mike and Tim and Devin and Sammy and Jesse and John, like the entire team, they're just good people at the end of the day. I mean, it's no secret why before they decided to jump into the whiskey space, they were successful and had some really awesome relationships before they ever got here. And it's paid dividends for the brand.
Dude, also, you know what doesn't hurt is like when you order Blue Run and you get a handwritten note from Mike. Like that doesn't fucking hurt. You know what I mean? The first time I ever got a Blue Run and it came with a note and it was handwritten in like a blue pen and it was signed Mike at the bottom. I'm like, what the fuck, man? How in the world is this even possible? Like,
dude, it is. I tell Mike all the time, you are the most involved CEO that I know, period. Not in just whiskey. But no, period. He knows every single person that's touched the brand in some way, shape, or form. He's aware of them.
Yeah.
I don't care if you don't have a podcast. I don't care if you don't have a bunch of followers on Instagram, whatever have you, right? Like he's written you a note. He sends people Christmas cards and, you know, and it's not like he's like, hey, like what's going on with you? How are you doing? He just pays attention to what people have going on. The guy, he's one of the most personable people you could ever want to know, let alone get to work with or work for and with. And like, yeah, we're super fortunate to have, again, just a healthy team of great fucking people that are also bottom professionals and know how to work together. So it's really, it's to your point, like it's a great place to be. It is a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, dude. I know. So my whole idea was like, when this goes under for Sean and I'm just like mass emailing distilleries that we get along with. And I'm like, I got to be able to do something, man. I don't know what it is, but you guys
you're leading tours somewhere for sure.
Somebody's like, hey, get the loud guy and let him yell over the fucking vats and when we distill and shit.
They're going to just be like, man, none of these facts that he's saying are right, but great charisma.
Yeah, he actually doesn't know anything about distilling, but he's in here and we do pay him. So, but
that's awesome.
No, man, that's super cool. That's really fucking cool, man. That's Bob said. I still have my handwritten note from Tim, dude. It's one of those things that you don't expect and it goes a really long way. Yeah. And it takes time from whoever's writing the note, right?
It's a personal touch.
But when like a consumer gets a product, especially like without dancing around it, like Blue Run being a premium brand in many senses of the word, but one of those senses is pricing, right? Like without a doubt.
For sure. Yeah.
Blue Run's in a premium market price wise. And then when you get the bottle and you're like, should I have paid like $120 for that? And then it comes with a fucking handwritten note. You're like, yeah, cool, man. And the whiskey's good. That's fucking great. Because I've bought a lot of shitty bottles of $120 that I hated and I didn't get a note. Yeah. So I don't know, it's like
they don't even
it's
want
like
to show.
Lose. But all right, real quick, there are a couple super chats I want to catch up on really fast.
Yeah, for sure.
Porter himself, ADHD whiskey. I'm over here prepping for the Blue Run single barrel draft combine. Can we just confirm I don't need to work on my vertical?
I kind of want to say yes, work on your vertical just to see how far you get between now and March 23rd. But I guess legally, I probably have to say no. You don't need to work on your vertical, but I think you still should. Just correct.
Like kind of legal, like legally, like. But if you
I'd for sure work on your 40-yard time though. Like
I also think that all of your training videos should be recorded and played in slow motion for everyone to see.
Oh yeah.
Dude, Matt's down like 100 pounds. He's got to be able to jump way higher.
Oh, for sure.
Got to be able to.
I love that.
All right. Garrett said, where do I send my job out? You're already hired. All right. That was easy. Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews. You guys have an amazingly talented, knowledgeable gentleman on the stream tonight. Enjoy, guys. Cheers, Junkies and Trey. Thanks, Dusty Dan. Appreciate it, man.
I'll send the cat back after this. Thanks, Dan. No, I got the opportunity to chat with Dan yesterday. He's a good dude. I like him a lot.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, nobody's ever stopped by the channel and been like, "You guys are knowledgeable and good at what you do." Those are not.
If only you saw how hot my Cash App was right now. People are just sitting there.
Holy shit, man!
That's great.
Okay, so you've been with Blue Run for a while at behind the scenes.
Yeah.
What projects were you involved in? Pre-public announcement of like curating the single barrel program and experiences and stuff?
Yeah, so super good question. So the first like, hey, this is the thing Trey is doing exclusively was the 12 days in December in 2021, right? So that first 12 days of bourbon, that was like our testing the waters. To your point, right? We didn't know if we were going to do single barrels. We didn't know if they would sell. We didn't know if I mean, we knew we had some quality juice. We did, and even at the age that it was maturing extremely well. And we use that as a litmus to see, okay, how far can we push the envelope, creating something that's not just new, but it's cool and it's engaging and it's something that people can get behind and build community around. And so between the notes and the boxes and the different colored butterflies and, giving people a chance every single day, a lot of folks were anti that, but we did that by design to give more people opportunity. All right. Like 12 days in a row. One of those days you're going to have downtime at 3:00 on Eastern. You know what I mean? Like we try to make sure that we tested as many things as possible. So that was the first big project. Fast forward, some of that rye that you guys are tasting, I had the opportunity to kind of taste some test blends and taste some single barrels to see if we would hold those back. And so a lot of the stuff that I've done is sensory that has either been released in something like 12 days or an NCO or something that is yet to be released.
Sure.
because we're holding on to it.
Dude, that emerald. Oh, I have two of the first releases. I have the blueberry pie and the peanut butter banana.
Yeah.
I watched you guys reviewing the peanut butter banana. That was a good one.
Dude, I like those a lot. Now, that being said, that emerald is probably I will say, outside of like the 14 year,
yeah.
obviously, right? But like, as what I would consider like a Blue Run whiskey, realistically, that emerald is fucking great. It's phenomenal. But
I would say I would go as far as saying that that's probably our best product since the age dated stuff.
Yeah, I completely agree.
It's top, and the reason I'm so excited about it is now that we have a home, a temporary home in Bardstown, and we have opportunity to create consistency in our blending, consistency in our inventory management. It's like we've had, bringing Shaglin on last year, having these systems in place allows us to have a much tighter control over the products we put out. And that was a great example. I mean, we bounced around from a couple of different places. And I don't think a lot of people know that, trying to figure out where we'd land before we found Bardstown as a home. And so like, we're like, okay, cool. We've got X number of barrels. Let's figure out what we can what we can physically touch right now. And that's what we can put in the market. It wasn't like hey, we have a registry and it tells you where every single barrel is and all this other good stuff. We didn't have that until we got to Bardstown. And so now that we have that, now that we have samples from, pretty much every barrel at a periodic point, we can really get a true understanding of what we have in our hands. And to your point, this Emerald Rye, I mean, it's a game changer for the brand. Yeah,
no, for sure. I think between the Emerald and between the High Rye releases, the High Rye bourbon releases, which are more of a standard offering, obviously, but like checking. So a good example is the other day there's somebody that we're friends with up here who's like the most purest whiskey purist we'll ever know, right? And his name's Justin, and he's the best. He distilled at a distillery in Michigan for a very long time. He's very good at what he does, but he's like the most purest. I don't know how.
Yeah.
If there were an angel that like made whiskey for a while, Justin be as close to that angel as you could possibly come.
He's about just the love of the craft and like at the end of the day, what you're putting in the bottle. And he is crazy in the best way about it.
Like above all else, it is like it was what was in here was like it a cool experience? Was it a different experience? Was it original in some? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like a few weeks back, he had texted and goes, "Hey, I haven't had Blue Run. You have Blue Run, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Could you line up like a flight of Blue Run? I haven't had it. I kind of want to see what it's about." I'm like, "Sure." And we know that he's like he's madly in love with ryes and ryes like his jam, whatever. So I started tasting through some of them, and I put one of the flight series in there. I put the Emerald in there because I knew he was a rye guy, obviously. I put the first High Rye bourbon you guys ever released, that Blue Run ever released, and then the newest one. And I wanted to I put them in an order in which I wanted to see what he would say, knowing nothing about the first High Rye ever to the most recent High Rye, right? And then so on and so forth. And he's going down through it, and then he gets to the second one. He goes, "Oh, that second High Rye bourbon was better." And I'm like, "Right, I agree."
Good.
It shows progression in the brand, right? And then with what Jim's doing, it shows that it's heading the correct direction, in my opinion. And then he tried the Emerald. And he's like, "Holy shit, man, that's fucking phenomenal!" Like that one is like the best one in this lineup, without a doubt. And he's like, that's an incredible rye. And I was like, coming from like the super whiskey purist, the rye guy, you know what I mean? Like, we trust him obviously in many ways, but it was like, when he said that, I was like, it gave me validation because I'm like, I fucking love that Emerald a lot. And then when he said it was good, I was like, damn right.
You have nothing to do with it other than liking it as much as you do. And you're like, hell yeah.
Justin, like nothing else. Yeah. But
it's a huge compliment, man. Like you mentioned this, and we don't shy away from this, right? Like, we are a premium brand, and we price things according to that. And from a simple economic standpoint, we aren't trying to compete with the $30 and $50 and $75 bottles, the $100 bottles, even though a lot of our stuff, High Rye, Reflection, both of those are sub $100 bottles at retail. We also get the brunt of like, hey, we don't have enough juice to support the demand. And so when retailers get their hand on our product, like I was just in Charleston, South Carolina last week. High Rye is an $84 bottle, like retail price. I paid $160 for a bottle. You know what I mean? That is but people look at us and are like, oh, you guys are pricing these bottles like super crazy. It's like we have so little control over what the end consumer sees. But I understand that perspective because that's what they see, right? And that's what we see as consumers. And so we try to be mindful of that. Like, you know, we got a lot of feedback around the pricing on the private barrel program, and we can talk about that. And it's hard to articulate outside of the press release unless having conversations like this. That guys, like, you're not just paying for a bottle of whiskey. Like, we're going to do some extremely cool shit. Like, there's a lot of stuff involved in this private barrel program that by the time that bottle makes it to your shelf, you're going to be like, holy fuck, I just had a 6-month experience with this brand. That, like, the capstone to that experience was this bottle. Not even, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many things that are going into this program that I personally haven't seen before in the hundreds of selections that I've done in a bunch of different spirits that I have to let certain things roll off my back when I hear people yell about the price, because as soon as they start seeing what our selections look like and the experiences and the final product in terms of packaging, I don't know if people will not complain about the price because it's still $200, right? Sure. But I think there'll be a little bit less of a knee-jerk reaction, and absolutely should be zero buyer's remorse because it's damn good whiskey. It's going to be hopefully one of the best experiences around spirits that a lot of people have. And you know, we try to develop the program so that it was really inclusive, right? We didn't just say, hey, if you have a bourbon group that's picking whiskey, come get a barrel. You know, we've got to process that. Like, John Doe from North Dakota could get a barrel if he throws his name in the hat and call it. And we're going to help fulfill that. We're going to help him or her create that experience. And so, yeah, it's good feedback. And I'm glad your buddy Justin enjoyed Emerald, because that's one of my favorites too.
No, man, it's I felt okay. This is a completely honest statement.
Go ahead, buddy.
100% truthful. I collected Pokemon cards as a child, right?
Okay. Yep.
I never would have guessed
that. I'm gonna catch every single damn butterfly that I can possibly catch. Dude, the idea with the butterflies, the packaging, here's the thing. It's one thing when you walk into a shop, there are definitely brands you look at and you're like, that's a $200 bottle or whatever, 100, 200, whatever, any premium bottle. And you're like, you look at it and you're like, dude, why the hell is it $150? Like, it's just got like regular paper stock, and it's got, you know, nobody knows what the fuck's in it, whatever.
Buzzwords.
Yes. It's like the smallest batch ever. And it was like Jim Bob Jean out in the hills somewhere, yeast strain from fucking Egypt, you know, whatever. But the thing is, when you see that, it stands out, which is why actually the reason that they're behind us on our Monday set is because they look so fucking good. Right?
And because Dan's bought so many, we can fill up a whole shelf with them.
Every time there's a new release, because I heard, and I don't even know, this may have just been like a leaked thing or it may be fake, but I heard there was a toasted blue run coming out, and I don't know if we're allowed to talk about that, but I swear to God, I'm getting one and I'm bunkering the other. Like, I'm gonna have, dude, holy shit.
His favorite thing in the world is like toasted bourbon.
Holy shit, man. But needless to say, all that to say, like, when you buy premium whiskey, you want it to be a premium experience, right? There's something to be said about drinking the whiskey out of the bottle with the bottle in front of you. Instead of, blinds are good, and we do blinds a lot, and blinds are fun, and people enjoy blinds because it shows you where your bias is or whatever. Pappy Van Winkle is way cooler if you drink it with the bottle of Pappy in front of you.
100%.
Right? Like, there's something to be said about, dude, look at, like, we're sitting here right now drinking Pappy. Like, can you believe? There's something to be said about that. So you guys offering an extended, long, curated and like experience to somebody that every time they open that bottle and they look at it, they go, dude, remember when we did that fucking thing and how cool it, like, there's some there that's worth something. I don't care if you call it can be worth money or whatever, but it's worth something, right? So
the other thing I'd say is, like, it's one of the things that before I joined the team formally that baffled me, and it was kind of like this this backwards confirmation that we were on the right track. There are so many brands out there, to your point, that aren't doing half the shit that we're doing,
right?
And people are still buying their product, and they're paying $100 a bottle. They're paying $150. You know what I mean? Like, people are still buying this whiskey, even if they only buy it once. I think that's the biggest difference for us in comparison to a lot of the other brands. Yeah, is that we've got people that'll buy multiple of the same expression because it's also good whiskey, right? That's not beyond us. That's actually how we lead. But there's other bottles out there that I've absolutely spent $200 on, and outside of it being a cool bottle to share with people when they come over, I don't ever touch it.
Right. Yeah.
We've got several.
But this is the
that.
bottle. You know what I mean? It's like, and so people, you complain over $200 for a bottle. It's like, this isn't the only $200 bottle you've bought.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just the one that's popular right now.
The problem realistically is like value whiskey is so obtainable from humongous legacy brands that it's like, I was having this conversation with somebody else, but it was about a glass, but it was like, if this glass is $100, even though it was hand blown, even though it's like there's a stamp that's embedded into the glass, it's all this shit, right? And all of that took way longer, and it looks cooler, and it's heavier, and it won't break the first time you fucking look at it wrong. But the problem is like there's a comparison because this glass was like $12, right? And so there's just a direct comparison that's really easy to make. Whiskey and whiskey, you know, glass and glass, whatever. And it's like, well, that doesn't mean that everything else is the same though, you know?
Yeah.
But
it's the marketing team job to get you to buy it once.
Yeah.
It's the distilling side to make sure you come back.
Yeah.
For sure. Good. Well said.
And Dan keeps coming back. So
dude,
a win-win on both sides for you.
That people buy multiples. So last time we were in Kentucky, I found the summer high rye from 2022 at 84 or 86 a bottle, something like in that range. And I just
at that price, like at that price, if you're complaining about it, like you really don't care about craft whiskey.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, and people, you know, I love when people talk about kind of the contrast between legacy brands and craft brands. Things are not the same price as they used to be when people started, right? When
hell no. No.
I mean, it's so funny. I drank some 8-year-old distillate in a label from Heaven Hill a couple weeks ago while I was in Kentucky, and it was like a late 90s. It's technically a dusty, like sat on the shelf for like $20. Right. There was 100% like 18+ year old whiskey in it. Like I confirmed with the distillery, and it had an 8-year age statement on it.
Yeah.
I could never in my life imagine somebody having a distillery right now and having enough stock to be like, oh, yes, it's 8-year whiskey. And they decided to blend in 18+ year old whiskey with it.
Right. Right.
Like it's just a different.
Really got to get rid of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like we got to sell this like yesterday because it's
right.
hot. And so, you know, we're an up and coming craft brand. You know, the goal is to continue to differentiate and provide quality products and quality experiences and premium. Will we have products that tip down below $80? I don't know. We might if we can grow a legacy brand, then we have the bandwidth to do so. But you can't build a $51 million distillery with $10 whiskey. You know what I mean? You just can't. No, it's not how that works.
Well, especially in a reasonable time frame, right? And especially when, in theory, hopefully, the new distillery offers you guys like the ability to increase your bandwidth, like you're talking about, and faster, right? So, I also, dude, there's also something to be said. And Sean and I have gone down the road a lot, but there's something to be said about supporting a brand that you believe in, even if you believe at the time. Like, listen, if this bourbon was 4 years old and it was pretty good, right? And it was around $80, and you were like, here's the thing. Do I think it's like the best $8 whiskey on the planet? I don't think that, right? But do I want to see where this is at in like 1 year and then another year and then another year? So I'll buy to support the brand because I'm actually really interested in where it's headed, right? I think that's one of the things you guys are doing is showing that like the new releases are great and the new high rise are better than the old high rise. Like, I just think when you show progression, it's really easy to be like, no, man, look, we're doing the thing. We're doing better. And
you're supporting the promise of new products to come.
Shit costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
Shit costs a shit ton of money.
And it costs even more money now than it did a couple years ago.
Dude,
so
exactly.
We're buying barrels like before shit got super wild, and not a lot, right? We had like basically -7 budget, and we started buying whiskey in barrels. And then now we get quotes on barrels, and it was like, "Excuse, is that like a fucking pallet? You know what I mean? Like,
is that a 4-pack or
do I get equity with that barrel? Like, come on now, that's a lot of money.
Right. You can deliver it for free to my front door.
There's a savings bond attached to that, right?
Yeah. Correct.
It is what it is, man. We can move on to the single barrel stuff, but I truly do believe that you guys have done a really good job progressing. The brand has progressed in a great way, especially when you think about it's only been like basically 2 fucking years, not even actually. And what has been done in that amount of time is fucking wild, like actually. So you guys sold out those single barrels in minutes, 12 days in a row. Like people can say whatever the fuck they want about the price. I don't know of any other brand that has done that or attempted to do that and been successful. So
Yeah. Thank you for that,
But-
man. Seriously, it's a labor of love. And here's one thing that we are not, that's not lost on us. We still have so far to go in every aspect. Like we have so many things that we need to improve on from like literally every level of the business. Like we want to make sure that as we continue to grow and our consumers continue to grow and get more educated about the brand, that they never feel like, oh man, I'm getting gypped out of X, Y, and Z. It's
Right.
one thing if you know everything there is to know about the brand, you come to that conclusion. But if you don't know anything about the brand, you come to that conclusion. But if you know what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish, and you're just paying attention to how we're going about putting whiskey in the market, like we don't ever want our consumers, our friends, to have that feeling about us. And so,
Sure.
so that's what we're aiming for. And so far, so good. There's always going to be haters, and if you're not doing anything cool, like nobody's going to hate on you. But we've got a fair share of folks that hate the butterfly.
Dude, if nobody was, saying anything about Blue Run in 2 years, it's like the most controversial thing ever in 2 years somehow in whiskey, and it's like tons of people who love it, tons of people who complain about
very
value.
decisive.
That's it. Like, it's like, it is what it is, man. Everybody's talking about it either way. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it's a healthy balance for sure.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Listen, people tell us we're fucking stupid all the time, and we're doing fine. So I don't know. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't tell people we're doing okay.
We're doing pretty fine in theory, So it's like
you guys have 2 sets, which is pretty badass. I just have this room.
So okay, we can move on to the chosen stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. So since you'd worked in sensory stuff before, are you like? Do you have any input on earmarking barrels for the single barrel program or stuff that you want to use for blends and that projects?
Yeah, so super collaborative. It's actually really cool, and I'll touch on this. But the inventory that we went out and got for the private barrel program, a lot of the stuff in this inventory doesn't exist in any other expression right now, which I'm crazy excited about because that means I can blend a micro blend of 2 barrels that has never and may very well never exist in like one of our core expressions. We're not just going to give you a single barrel of the high rye. We would have blended into the high rye. We're not, it's just not that. So, so I do get a choice, like an opportunity when we go out and source additional barrels because we're still sourcing, right? We just started distilling less than 2 years ago. We can't have 5-year-old whiskey without going and buying it from somebody else. And so I get the opportunity when we get samples in from a potential purchase, I get to help choose those. And we have a back stock of inventory that we've been building for the past couple of years that as Shaylin honestly leads the spear in terms of managing the inventory, keeping updated with the progress that we have. She will earmark barrels that go into limited projects. And then I'll get to have access to those to choose what comes into the chosen program.
That's
very
super cool. That's really fucking cool. Wait, are you guys? I don't. And if you can't talk about some of this, just say whatever. But are you guys storing all of your stuff at Bardstown, or are you guys distilling at Bardstown now?
Yeah. So we've been distilling at Bardstown since we've been there. That's honestly the thing that drew us there, right? Bardstown. You guys have probably been there, but the folks that don't have any awareness of how cool Bardstown is like you can literally do everything there. Mm-hmm. Everything from bringing the grain in, doing your fermentation, running the still, barreling your whiskey, storing your whiskey, bottling your whiskey, all literally on that same campus. And so for us, it was such an awesome fit. I mean, they've got nearly 100 different labels there. Even some legacy brands are doing work there because they built it to have the capacity to do so. And so it's an awesome fit for a brand like us because it helps us not have to say, hey, we're going to distill here and then truck that over here and then barrel it here. And then we got to carry it up the hill and down the road to put it in a rick house here. You know what I mean? It's so yeah, Bardstown is home for us right now. That's, obviously we're building our distillery in Georgetown, which is what we're tied to from a brand with one of our founders, Jesse McKnight. And so, we'll be there until we're not. And they've been fantastic to us. Like we wouldn't have been able to accomplish what we've accomplished in this past 16 months without those guys.
That's awesome. Okay. Is Rutledge still going to distill at Castle and Key or not?
If he does, it won't be for us.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, dude. Some of this, it legitimately blows my mind that Rutledge makes what he makes at Castle and Key when we've had other product for
Other
Castle
things,
and Key.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it shows like how
Diverse.
for us, it shows us. Well, you can use the word diverse. I'm gonna use the word impressive. It
Okay.
shows me how impressive Rutledge is for sure. But
I was gonna say how diverse the whiskey
diverse
coming
is a
off the
very
same
nice
still.
way to say
could
the
be.
same. But yeah, man. Okay, so let's get into the Chosen stuff. So Chosen, you guys
Sure.
just launched it publicly, like just launched it.
Yeah,
Portal
2 weeks
started
ago
to
we
open
announced it. Yeah.
yesterday.
Say again.
Portal opened up yesterday.
Yep. Portal opened up
It's
yesterday.
cool.
So thanks, man. So the program has been a brainchild of mine since honestly the first 12 days. I was like, okay, how can we scale this? How can we give this again? That for us was our beta test. And so this isn't something we just dreamed up overnight. Like we put some serious thought into this, and we actually got some feedback that we might have put too much thought into it, which I've never heard before, which I'm okay with. I am 100% okay with. It's one of the most cool compliments I could get right now in the space that we're in. So, I've designed the program in a couple of different phases. And so the first phase of the program was kind of scouting, right? And so as a brand that's grown the way it has, we did not get here without folks like yourself and other folks supporting, being curious, sharing the gospel of Blue Run, right? And so we wanted to reach out to as many of those people as possible and say, hey, we're launching a program. Would you like to participate? Here's what it looks like. And so we have a small section of folks that we said, hey, look, we want to make sure you get a slot no matter what. I am, if nothing else, a fair man. And I believe in equal opportunity in every aspect of the word. Or the phrase. And so I wanted to make sure that no matter how big your group was, no matter where you were geographically, no matter, if you were a agave group or whatever have you, that we created some sort of opportunity for people to participate. And that's what the portal was, right? You go on, you get to just essentially create a profile, fill out some basic information, and design your bottle, right? We worked on colors that were unique to this particular program, and so these won't end up on any other expressions, which is really freaking tough if you imagine how many things we're trying to create for the longevity of the program.
Yeah.
And then we backed everything with kind of alignment to sports, with one of our executives being a Nike executive. There's just this unspoken connection to us in the sports arena, right? We've been listed in different articles of quote unquote sneakerizing the whiskey world, right? Which, look, if you're gonna make up a word, that's a really good made up word in my opinion. I don't think we could have came up with that word without public opinion. And so thanks for,
we're gonna use that.
Listen, I'm wearing Jordans right now. I'm fucking in. So.
I don't have shoes on, so but so we just have this natural connection, and a lot of the folks here are interested in sports. I wrestled all the way through college, and so I know what it feels like to go through transfer portals and stuff like that. And so just created those different phases, bringing people together, enjoying this really cool experience, and doing it in a way that I think we're putting ourselves on a stage for the world to see us. And it's a little bit nerve-wracking because you open yourself up to a lot of just opinion and judgment and criticism, but we put a lot of effort into this, and I think we've all since the brand started, we've kind of been in that light. And so the program's going to be cool, man. We have a live streamed draft day, so you imagine us being on the stage, and one of us will be the commissioner and get to announce, the first selection of the Blue Run private barrel program is X, Y, and Z person in X, Y, and Z place. And we're working on some cool stuff. We'll be able to snap too. So if you guys are having a watch party with your watchers or something, we'll be able to pull you into the stream and you can go crazy and all that good stuff. And then we'll hop back to the draft. And so it's going to be a full production. We're not half-assing any aspect of the program. What I'm genuinely most excited about though is the selection experiences that we're going to have. We don't have a distillery right now. That's not a secret. And Bardstown for us is a rental property. It's not our home. It, as beautiful of a facility it is, it's funny. Mike and I were on a show last night, and he described our distillery that's being designed and developed right now as we're going to land a spaceship in the center of Kentucky. It sounds freaking ridiculous, but when you look at some of the architecture that exists around the world, which is what the team has kind of looked at, there really is a ton of opportunity. I remember when Bardstown was first built, it made every distillery in Kentucky look 10, 15 years older than it actually was.
Sure. Yeah. Right.
It's a huge jump forward for the aesthetic. Same thing for places like Rabbit Hole in downtown Louisville, right? Just completely different design aesthetic. And so we're leaning into that, and we're creating something that's, extremely engaging. So I'm super excited for the selection experiences that are going to happen in a variety of markets. I mean, I could talk about a few. We've got a group that one of their members is the general manager of a yacht company in South Florida. And so we're going to be on an 80-foot yacht doing barrel selections. Like, what?
That sounds awful. God.
What? I mean, I've been on a Carnival cruise line. I have never been on something I could consider a yacht, right? Like, again, I'm super excited because I get to participate in these experiences that we're curating, and we're going to do them all over the place. Like, I'm trying to like get approval to do a selection in the Grand Canyon. Could you imagine doing a barrel pick in the Grand Canyon?
Hell yeah.
That'd be cool, right?
Sooner
okay, listen,
later.
hear me out, dude.
Go for it.
We will not shut the channel down, but we'll just turn the channel into just showing the selection process, and we'll just be there for all of them. You know what I mean? Holy shit.
I would love that.
I mean, like,
It's going to be super cool, man. It's going to be super cool. I mean, we're having, I mentioned earlier, we have such an awesome team of people that have just fostered really great relationships throughout their careers prior to whiskey. And we have folks reaching out to us about how can we help? How can we make this everything you want it to be? And the reception has been extremely overwhelming, I think is an understatement. Yeah. The folks from the Masters called us today. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, what?
Damn.
I don't own a golf club.
I'll be there.
Holy shit.
Correct. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the, and we're like, hey, of course we want to work with you guys. We want to do these things. Can we make it inclusive, right? So can I bring somebody who would never go to the Masters as a part of this experience?
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's super important to us, because until we have a distillery that it exudes our identity, that's what it's going to take to make sure people will see the vision that we have.
Dude. Okay, hear me
wild.
out. Hold on. We get Elon on the phone, right?
That's what I said. We can get it in rockets sooner rather than later.
We go to the moon with Elon.
Someone's doing that.
Space.
Oh, they're sending whiskey to space. You guys, I'm sure you've
Damn
heard
it. You know, we're the first ones to do a pick in space. We'll figure it out.
I wonder if you can. I'm sure. I guess you can taste in space.
Yeah, dude,
I don't know
sure.
enough about space to curate an experience there yet.
No, me neither. That's why we need Elon.
They'd be like, "Hey, just don't," and you just be like, liquor everywhere, just floating around. Be like, "One's supposed to do that."
Don't do it the way you're about to. That you're thinking of doing.
Now I just got a vision of you just floating around,
trying to get the sample out of
everywhere.
That's hilarious. That's so good,
dude. Holy shit.
And I mean, and there's it's crazy. All the things that I talked about, there's even more detail poured into the program. Like we've got
of course.
Custom stuff for each person that participates. We're not sending barrels or barrel heads because like everybody does that. We're doing like you're going to take away some stuff, and it's going to be tailored to you, just like everything else we do. It's going to be tailored to you and your group or your organization. And then what I'm really, really excited for is I guess I'm excited for the entire program because I'm going to keep saying that. But at the end of the year, and you guys in front of all your watchers are absolutely invited. So hope you come. So at the end of the year, November 30th, I think is the date for sure. Like we're zeroing in on that date. We're going to do essentially our gala, like our end of the year celebration. For me, it's going to be representative of two things. One, it's going to be an opportunity to once again bring people together in a really cool way. Two, it's going to be a way to highlight a lot of the people that participate in the program and some people that have been attached to the brand from day zero. And three, I think it's going to be an opportunity for us to give a lot more people on a platform that we created a look into the future, looking at what our distillery is going to look like, look at what future LTO is going to look like, look at what the future of the private barrel program is going to look like, and really just be able to see the vision. I think that's the hardest that's the hardest thing for a lot of people. They think whiskey is super secretive, and candidly, like I could give you my mash bill, I could give you the age of my whiskey, tell you how I made it, and there's just so many other variables that you're not going to create.
For sure.
And so like there's certain things that don't necessarily have to be secret,
right?
And so we're going to showcase a lot of the things that it's going to be a DNA examination. People are going to be able to see what we're made of and what we have, what we're creating for the future.
Dude, we were just going over this the other day, but Compass Box is obviously from a Scotch standpoint, but Compass Box puts percentages of all of the whiskey that was in the blend on the back of the bottle. And I think it's kind of one of those things where you're like, try it. Yeah. I don't give a shit, man. Like if you think that you can do exactly what we can do the way that we do it, we'll just tell you how we did it and then you can try it. You know what I mean? It's like, there's 100% something to be said of like, there's a science part that people aren't going to understand. If they do understand that, there might be an art part that the blender decided on, and then
come
that
to find
part
out
is specific.
you're not Rutledge.
Right, yeah. And it's like
in case you were wondering.
Dude,
you were not him. You were not Jim.
Dude, yeah. You put people in front of the same still and they make very different product. It's like it's not as simple as like, dude, well, as long as your still's copper and then you use corn, then we're good.
Yeah.
And
that's the beauty of it, and that's why I'm so excited that we were able to offer the opportunity for micro blends in this program. And people look at Flight and they see like, hey, like you can really create a dynamic whiskey with 2 barrels, right? Something that is way more complex than either of those barrels individually. And Shaylin has a great ability to essentially, minority report these barrels together in her head before they ever, touch. And it's just this really, really cool thing to experience. But you mentioned that a lot of folks knock the whole concept of sourcing, and like, honestly, we wish we could put more stuff in our bottles. We wish we could say, or like we had to fight to be able to put our mash bill in our high rye stuff. And so it is something that we want to lean into, is just additional transparency, because I think we can still be exciting and sexy without as much of the mystery. And that comes along with just general, like we're not unique in the fact that there's information we just don't disclose. It's not, it's not a us thing. It's just it's an industry thing. And so, and I can name a number of distilleries. There's one in particular that I don't know what they do as those barrels leave their facility, but they just taste 10, 15, 20% better as they go out the door to other people to blend.
Sure. Dude, there's also a distillery where sometimes you're like, I don't know what the hell, like you even figure out the source. You're like, I don't know how you fucked that up like that. Like, holy shit, man, that wasn't the one. You know what I mean? Now, that being said, like today, there was an email that came through yesterday from a broker, and they said, hey, this is the barrel inventory that we have available right now. And it was a mass email to a shit ton of people, I'm sure, right? And I was like, oh, cool. A few of those places and ages and whatever, they look cool. So then I had emailed and said, hey, could I get more information on like these 3? She's like, sure. This is from Kentucky. These 2 are from Indiana. I'm like, right. Can you tell me the source from and we're going to buy these, like in theory, right? Like hypothetically, we would be purchasing wholesale these barrels and putting them under a DSP. And she goes, they're from Kentucky. And I'm like, right. Where? And she's
more
like,
than one distillery there.
She literally responds and goes, do you want a lot sample? Do you want to try it? And I'm like, what the fuck? No, I want to know. Tell me where the fuck it's from. Because if I'm going to pay you X amount of thousands of dollars for one barrel, right? It's like, then
I want to know what I'm getting.
And it's like, obviously we're not, I'm not signing an NDA with a broker over an email of a lot sample, but it is one, you can see where like the NDA part comes in, or we're not even telling you, or any of that shit, right? Do you like it or not? If yes, buy it. If not, move on with your life, right? So
and that's something cool. I mean, I'll give you guys a little bit of trade secret. Like I've spent a gross amount of time just like investigating mash bills, and a lot of times the mash bill isn't under NDA. It's the source, because there are some duplicative mash bills out there. Like you can get the same mash bill from a couple different places, but age, proof point, all these other stuff, you can start to do some reverse engineering. And so when people say they source a product, I'm like, sure, let me try it. Let me again, this room is my laboratory. Like, I drink in here, I hang out with my friends, but this is where I get to experience as many brands in different ways as possible. And people ask, hey, how do you categorize this room? It's like, I categorize it by source. I know where most of this shit came from because I know where stuff comes from. And this is before I was in the industry, like professionally. This was just me being a curious consumer. Obviously vet whatever information you pull offline, but there's a ton of it out there.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's what she sent the mash bill the last time she responded, and it's the same mash bill as a very, very insanely large Indiana distillery, but it's Kentucky source, right? So it's one of those things where it's like, fine, send the fucking lot sample and we'll see if we like it. You know what I mean?
It'll be sold before the lot sample gets here.
I'll just go Google a bunch of shit and do all the legwork myself. It's like,
what am I paying for, lady? Well, the thing is, like for guys like you and guys like us too, right? We don't have enough barrels in inventory to fill a traditional rick house right now.
Right.
Like, let's just put that in perspective. Like, we're still small and we're still trying to grow. And so we fight some of the same battles. Like we really do. It's like, hey, we're trying to build a brand, and we can't build it off of question marks.
Right.
If I ask you a question, you can't respond to it with something that leads to 17 other questions.
Sure.
Or you sure you can, but it just makes our goal exponentially harder. And we're not buying 1 or 2, 3 barrels at a time. We're committing to exponential numbers of inventory at a time, and it's like a big investment.
Right.
A lot more barrels. So yeah, it's a challenge.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Okay, I've seen someone post in here a couple times to ask about your cooking skills.
Oh boy, that's fun. Yeah, I like.
I was gonna say I don't know if I'm supposed to or not.
This is the thing. You're either really good at cooking based on that response, or you're the worst ever. Those are the only 2 options. Yeah.
So I'm known to cook a pretty decent meal. I have went to culinary school a couple times for fun and
for fun.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, it's like night school. Like, you go to community college and you're like, hey, I'll pick up something on the side. And I'm a little bit of like a workaholic, and it's just one of those things I did when I was fresh out of college. And so I never stayed in one place like living long enough to finish the class or like the 2. I've only done it twice. But yeah, I'm by definition an ungraduated classically trained chef.
Okay. Better than us for sure. It was that first one. He's good. I'm not putting you in there.
You said us. You did say us.
Yeah.
That wasn't necessary.
That's fair.
I can cook eggs.
Yep. And
pancakes pretty good.
Oh,
I can make a mean burger. If we're talking the best thing I can do, it's just a burger.
Okay, that's solid. That's respectable.
But no. But the problem is, like, in theory, if I could cook a burger, I could cook a steak. Not true. Like, this is the problem. There's this huge disconnect.
I appreciate you recognizing that there is a significant difference between the 2.
He only knows trial and error is why he knows.
No. As a fat guy at heart, I love food. This is the problem. I just can't make it. Thank God my wife can cook really, really actually well, because otherwise I probably would have tried to learn it, or I would have just stuck to pizza rolls and shit. So, but real quick, super chat. Willow said, Trey, sell me on Emerald Rye, considering picking it up. Wishing you all the best. Team Dan, I spend too much money on whiskey.
Cheers.
Jackson, it's delicious. Here's my, I don't care if it's my brand or anybody else's brand. Find a bar near you that's selling it. Pay if you don't want to spend $100 on anything, pay the $15, $20 or $30 it might be at a bar, and make your decision from that. I can 100% sell you on it because I'm biased towards it. It is a fantastic rye. There is some historical significance to it. Like Dan mentioned, like, it's the first rye German Village ever made. 30 years of running a distillery, a major distillery, and never laid down a fermentation of rye or batch of rye. So it's pretty special to think that somebody that's in pretty much every spirits or whiskey hall of fame that you can be in, this is the first time he's ever made this type of distillate, and it's in this bottle. So if you're into history stuff, if you're into that, like, by all means, go get it. But my suggestion is always going to be consistently, whether it's my brand or anybody else's, try it at a bar, see if you like it. Trade a sample with a friend, and if you like it, buy it. And if not, I respect that. There's a ton of whiskey in the world.
Willow, if you don't fucking like it, I'll just buy it from you. Like,
he'll do it. This
is the thing. It's not like the thing about the Emerald is when it came out, I was like, damn, dude, should I spend more money? And then I was like, shit, I definitely shouldn't. And I was like, shit, I probably should. That butterfly's really cool. Because at first I didn't.
That's what you weighed your whole decision. I'm just like, looks good.
Because like before I knew anything about it, right? Mm-hmm. And I like golden rye, but I was like, I really like I like the flight series. I love the single barrels. And so I was going through it and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Bought it, drank it. I was like, holy shit, this is actually the best one so far. Like, for me. But it's like a rye. It's a rye. It's not like a freaking super sweet, low, chill Kentucky rye. It's like, I'm a fucking rye and I'm great. Like, that's the kind of rye it is.
95.5. If you ask Jim, like, his favorite stuff he's ever made at Four Roses, it's the stuff that's it packs a punch, but a great balance as well. He's like, I like it spicy. I like it. I like to have some savory notes. Jim prefers savory to sweet. And so when you taste our whiskeys and you feel the mouthfeel, it's going to lean towards a pastry before it leans towards a fruit. And so Jim, that's how Jim kind of goes through his process. And so, and it's man, I've had the opportunity to sit down and, matter of fact, when we blended the 14 year, this was another project that I got to sit down and taste some of the first blend, and we're sitting there tasting, and I was like, man, there's this really nice vegetal note, like a really nice, well-charred green pepper. And Jim was like, aha, That's why I love it. It was the best response. Whiskey life made. I could have died right then and be like, you know what, guys?
Yeah.
For sure.
Jim Rutledge approved my tasting note. We're good.
Yeah.
You know, if
Good,
the rest of my life does not qualify, that should get me somewhere in the line. So yeah, Joe's got a good question.
Yeah, I was gonna say he definitely wants to know what he's a Sagamore guy. So
I'm also a huge Sagamore fan. I'm a fan of a lot of craft brands out there. Like I will not pretend like our whiskey is the only whiskey in the world. My favorite thing from Sagamore, hands down, in the past 6 years has been their Manhattan finish, their Distiller Select Manhattan finish, and it is freaking ridiculous. Like it is what a Manhattan thought it was before. It is ridiculous. So good.
gotta look around. I don't think we have that.
Look around, dude.
I'll tell you. It's right. It's actually right here in a second.
Phenomenal.
Oh, for some reason, I was definitely thinking it was like 375.
So these are all 750s behind me, brother. So this is rye whiskey finished in vermouth, bitters, and cherry brandy barrels. So essentially, they made a Manhattan at cask strength and put it in a bottle. And it's what is this? I think it's like 103 proof.
That's super cool.
Freaking amazing. I don't ever kill a bottle the same time I open it. I've 100% done that with this bottle.
So
no shame.
What got you in the whiskey, and like what was your first whiskey love? Like what bottle was like the first thing you're like, that's what I'm buying, that's what I'm drinking, I enjoy?
It's a fantastic question. Unfortunately, I don't remember the very first bottle because I was like 21 in a day. But there's a lot that's happened since then. But
yeah.
So I used to work for an ad agency called Mosaic, and they did different advertising campaigns for different brands, and Anheuser-Busch was one of them. So I was traveling around the world, drinking way more beer than anybody ever should. And quite candidly, like I just got burnt out on beer. And so the thing you do as a 21, 22-year-old to impress people at a bar is you sit down and try to order a whiskey. And so I did that. And fortunately, some like not so green and seasoned bartender was like, you don't know what the fuck you're asking for. And I was like, you're right. Educate me. And so, sat down and tasted a bunch of different things. And I mean, he put like a Glenmorangie in front of me and Lefroy at the same time. And I was like, I know what I don't like. And it was, you know what I mean? Like, and granted, I love Lefroy now, but that was essentially the experience, just traveling, sitting at bars, which is probably why my advice is if you want to figure out what you like. I have a really, really big soft spot in my heart for bartenders because they're everything from, mixologists to hardworking people to therapists, and they cater to kind of what you're interested in, especially at a good bar. And so that's how I got into whiskey, man. I'm a little bit of an obsessive compulsive person, and my responsibilities at that time was to know everything about the process of beer so I could go out and educate consumers on that. And so the lens that I looked through was applied to whiskey, and would pick up a bottle or send a bottle back home from wherever I was. And next thing you know, I'm sitting on, close to a couple thousand bottles.
Hell yeah. Dude,
Whew.
the Calvados Sagamore is one of my favorite.
Calvados. Yeah.
That Calvados. Well, how the fuck do you know? You would definitely know. How do you pronounce it correctly?
Calvados, yeah.
Motherfucker.
I mean, you've only been saying it wrong for
ability
years.
to speak the language I was born and grew up speaking is horrendously bad.
To be fair,
but English I knew what you meant. I agree. English is not necessarily a language. Correct. Everyone knew exactly what you meant, and if they didn't know what you were talking about.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Holy shit. I'm gonna use that line for so much shit moving forward.
You'll forget it. It's fine.
That's
it's
phenomenal.
Fine.
Okay, hold on. There were a couple things.
Yeah.
Dear Lang said, gotta say totally impressed.
And what?
Impressed. See, told you language things. Impressed with Blue Run. Received not only a thank you card, also email thank you for my purchases from them. What businesses do that anymore? Probably none. Class
Not
A.
a lot.
Also, dope profile picture, Mr. Lang. That was pretty funny. I like that. I don't know what you're looking at, but I noticed you looking over there.
All right. So, okay, really quick. After you guys can post. I know there have been questions in chat through us chatting. If we didn't ask, because we probably didn't, but if you want to re-ask those right now, then we'll put them on screen and we can go through them.
Yeah.
But really quick. So if people want to, if like an individual wants to try and get a pick. I know ADHD Whiskey was in here, and he mentioned he just went through the portal.
Yep.
And he like submitted a thing for like the pick program for Chosen.
Oh yeah, thanks, Matt.
Solid name, by the way.
Chosen.
Yeah,
super fucking good.
Yeah.
Well, it's like one of those words that just like, all right, we're gonna go choose a barrel and we're gonna choose the people to participate. I was like, fuck, we keep saying the same word. Let's just put it on the bottle.
Yeah.
It was like, it's funny as I started to develop the program, I had kind of the framework, but until the green light, the button got pushed, I was like, hey, let's do this, which wasn't long ago. I mean, sub 60 days for sure. I was like, all right, cool. I've got to figure out some dates for these launch things. And so we have to work backwards because we don't own Bardstown. We get a schedule of when we can bottle stuff. And so we have to work backwards from that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, cool. Well, that means we need to start selecting barrels around now, which means we need to like have the list of people to participate by then. I was like, cool. The day after the Super Bowl, we'll open our portal. And then 3/23/23, Michael Jordan. Like we're going to, granted, there's no affiliation for anybody watching, but like we're gonna have draft day on 3/23/23,
right?
And then November 30th, which is it's a Thursday, but it's like a special Thursday because it's the day before 12 days starts. We're having our gala, right? Like which means it can be a launch party, and it just everything worked out so well. And our hope is to be able to partner with a few folks in Louisville to make a large portion of the event super charitable. And going into the holiday season, nothing feels better for me personally to be able to give back. We have one of our big supporters who, and I won't say his name, but like huge supporter, lost his daughter to some super rare cancer, like 2 weeks before the brand launched. Favorite color was blue. Favorite animal was butterflies. Like they're all over her room. This guy bought dozens of cases of products, like has more Blue Run than we probably have right now in inventory. Right. And so like we're gonna hands down do a special release for him and his daughter, and awesome. Big charitable donation to cancer societies. And so when people ask about, when people hear the word inclusive and diverse for us, like we have sports organizations, we have organizations that contribute to veterans, we have organizations that contribute to different medical charities, we have diversity and inclusion groups, we have like we went out, and the folks that we selected, we wanted to make sure that there would be no argument, that we didn't just go say, hey, Bourbon Bros, what do you want? Right, we really try to make sure that we are leaning into our ethos with the folks that we can choose, while also still keep creating that equal opportunity for anybody to participate. And it's a fine balance, guys. Like you're never going to please everybody, but I'm really proud. Like I don't feel any fear in standing on any stage and saying like, I can sleep well at night knowing that we did something with a great moral compass and how we allocated the program. Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, man, the people at some point bitching and complaining comes from people that just want to bitch and complain. It doesn't really fucking matter. You know?
No matter what you do, you can say that fuck you, we're gonna do whoever we want, and that's how it's done, and people are gonna be like, all right, cool, and then complain. Or you can do exactly what you said and be like, everyone's got a fair shot, and people are still gonna complain.
Yeah. No,
for some reason, there's still a couple of brands out there. There's the brand, and there's a couple of others like that nobody even expects to get a barrel from them. Like it's like, it's like finding out your wife's pregnant when you find out you're getting a barrel from these people. And I'm like, you don't even get to pick it most of the time. You know what I mean? Like they're just sending you a pallet of whiskey and asking you to sell it.
Dude, and Maury comes in the door and he's like, not your barrel. And you're like, what the fuck, man? I've been looking forward to this all year.
That's so good.
100% though, for real. Dude,
Ashton Kutcher, get out of here.
We have tried to get an Old Forester situation going for about 7,000 centuries now.
That's never gonna happen.
And they're like, why don't you two fuck yourselves? So,
and not even politely. They're just like, nah.
We got told good luck channel by Buffalo Trace very recently. Anyways,
That's
you can quote me on the quote unquote fucking writing. But anyways, all right.
Okay, I saw one. Yeah. Right. This one from William Hall. Trey danced over the toasted version. Is it, or can you say if it's coming?
Let's talk about it.
If we do a toasted version barrel, if we do a toasted bourbon or whiskey, it will be unlike any toasted whiskey before.
Dude, I'm literally going to have to go to onlydans.com and start streaming. I'm so excited. That's crazy, man. Holy
Feed
shit.
pics, bro. Feed pics get the job done.
Dude, that's 100% accurate, huh?
Yeah.
If you pay your toenails, people pay for crazy shit. It's wild.
You should just,
Are you speaking
you
from a
should just do it.
consumer?
No,
or-
definitely not, man. Whichever side of the coin.
All right, I'm not paying for this, but I'm just going to put this idea in your head, just like Matt with the whole working out for the draft. I think every time we release a new butterfly, you should just do matching toenail paint, and that'd be like,
Okay, now here's the thing. If I make like a shit ton of money on this, I'll cut you in 100%.
When he makes 38 cents though, yeah,
I'll give you a quarter.
I do not know how to explain to my accountant that I have a regular draft of fun from Feed Pickers. I don't.
No. It'll be a wire. We could do like offshore account. There's somebody who can figure it out, like without a doubt.
Where's this regular deposit coming from? This dude I told him to paint his toenails.
So incriminating.
Okay.
Right.
Holy shit.
That's
Totally
funny.
normal. Which one were you going to click on?
Do the Matthew Meyer senior one down 3. Right
This
there.
one?
Yeah.
Well, I clicked it.
Click it harder.
All right, there you go.
Is there a 20-year on the table in the future, Matt? If there is a 20-year, it's absolutely in the future because we do not have 20-year-old whiskey yet. So I'll never say never. Like, we're the brand that's always going to push the envelope. I wish we had 20-year-old whiskey right now, and I wish it was from like not Kentucky. I've had a good bit of 20-year-old Kentucky whiskey. I know brands right now that have dumped 20-year-old barrels or try to blend them with like 5 and 10-year-old barrels and parts.
Holy shit.
20-year-old whiskey out of Kentucky, quite candidly, is not the best whiskey that you want. And not even hot. It just tastes like popsicle sticks for the most part. Like, and don't get me wrong,
God.
I am all for a good popsicle stick, but it's like double bubble after 10 minutes of chewing. It's not a whole lot of flavor there.
Because you're into like a bunch of other whiskey and have been for obviously a while.
Yeah.
Thoughts if you've had it on Lost Profit from Orphan Barrel?
Yeah, it's right up there.
Dude, do you like it?
I really, really appreciate what it showcases. Like, it is one of those whiskeys that showcases that you can have whiskey that's over 20 years old in a particular blend and it not taste like popsicle sticks.
Sure.
That being said, whether it be the blending or the proofing, I think there was a lot left to desire in that particular release.
Dude, honestly,
regardless of the price point, it could have been a $50 bottle.
Right,
And
yeah,
I would have said the exact same thing.
Honestly, dude, so we did a blind with that Barter House, Rhetoric 20, and Rhetoric 22 because those were just our 4 favorite Orphan barrels. Do you want to talk about people who aren't? Do people bitch about their shit?
Yeah, I think so.
That's one of the funniest. It's my favorite story in whiskey, but it's also like one of the most comedic stories in whiskey.
Bullshit story.
But I do love it. Listen, don't get it twisted. I do enjoy reading a book on, you know what I mean? But that's fictional. But the thing is that Lost Profit 22, I love it so much.
Oh, yeah, Lost Profit is 22. Never mind.
But I see what you're saying. That at maybe like 100 proof or 105 proof or something. It would be so fucking intriguing to try.
A great example that I've had the chance to try, like even some of the Heaven Hill stuff, right? They're older Heaven, so they don't proof it below. Outside of EC18, they try to keep it over 100 proof, right? That's just their model. Right. But in other spirits, you'll see that like the difference between a cast strength single malt and a proofed single malt is exorbitant. Yeah. The same thing becomes true as whiskey gets that much older because it's so dense.
Yeah.
That overproofing it, just like it makes it. This is not a scientific word, so please don't use this to impress anybody. But it makes it kind of blocky. It makes it like very like, okay, there's this and there's this and there's no nice transition of flavor.
Sure.
Right. Like it just separates things so dramatically that you get like, oh, today it tastes like just this, and today it tastes like just this, or even in a sip, it's like, cool, I get the nose, I get the front of the palate, and then it disappears.
Sure.
Oh, and then there's the finish.
The Heaven Hill 17 was that like their heritage? Is that what they called or something like
yeah,
that?
Heritage Collection.
The new one
I'm so excited. The 20 years. It's mellow corn. It is. I've had the chance to taste it at 18 years. It is freaking fun. So I was drinking with Bernie lovers, and I'm so excited about somebody else's whiskey. Please, guys, Mike, Sam, Guys, sorry. I'm so sorry. We know where we're at.
No,
And we don't have 20 years.
Yeah, that's
We do not have 20-year-old corn whiskey that was aged 100% in Kentucky or Bardstown. So this is not a competitive thing. Either way, Connor O'Driscoll, Bernie Lovers, two of my favorite people in the world of whiskey. Connor's their master distiller, Bernie's their global ambassador, and we had a chance to try some of that, and that might be the new standard for aged whiskey.
Really that good, huh?
It's like, hey, like if you're gonna make 100% corn whiskey, just sit on it for a bunch of years.
right. Yeah,
Because mellow corn is 7 years old. People don't. It's 7 years, 100 proof ball and bond. Like people don't know that. Like if you want to have 25-year-old whiskey, just use just corn. No rye, no wheat, no nothing. Just 100% corn in a glass. Like, go find your favorite moonshiner and put their shit in a barrel. You know what I mean? Like, because it is a beautifully complex butterscotch. God, look. If I get a chance to buy that bottle, I promise you, my child will be in my pocket just in case I need to trade him. And I love them. I'll buy them back like at the next payday. But like we're gonna get a bottle of that some way somehow.
That's fucking awesome. Okay, there were some good questions here.
Yeah. So you had mentioned earlier, you're into Scotch now?
So I honestly cut my teeth in single malt because the proof is so much lower, right? Sure. And it's just like red wine; it's acquired taste. As you start to push the proof, like I was not 22. I mean, at 24 I probably was, but I was not 21, 22 drinking 125 proof whiskey. I just wasn't. Like I'm not. Like I wrestled all the way through college, 2-time All-American. Like I'm quote unquote a man's man. I was not drinking 125 proof whiskey. Sure. Not without making a face in front of a girl, right? Like I was like, pour me something that ain't gonna burn. It was kind of how I started. But
Sean and I's first, my first whiskey adventure ever was an early one for Sean, but definitely was a Wild Turkey 101 in our roommate's bedroom in college. Whew. And I drank it. Sean drank it. I was like, how the fuck you drink that shit, dude? Oh my gosh, it's fucking fire
water.
And now it's like, oh wow,
100 feels like
fantastic, dude.
That's warm up whiskey, yeah.
But,
so Jackson, this is a good question. So I'm still pretty young, guys. I just turned 30 a couple months ago, and so I'm not super old at all.
You're young as shit.
Thank you. That's the goal.
He's so much more successful than us.
We're old.
Oh, stop it.
We're old fucks.
Here's advice I'll give anybody professionally. Be a person of integrity, man and female. Just if you say something, go do it. And if you can't do it, don't say it. And so I say that about everything. And when you show up, be honest about what you can and can't do. And if you want to be a whiskey influencer, like don't lie about your following. Don't go buy followers. Just be authentic. And especially people who, a lot of which are family, like genuinely are family. They know each other from birth in the whiskey space. Like they can see what looks genuine. They can kind of cut through the BS. And so I would say, stay curious, always be willing to learn. You'll never know enough. Be genuine, and which I probably said twice because it's that important, but just put yourself out there, ask for opportunities, be willing to work for nothing, which is, in today's economy, it's hard to say, but like be willing to have a couple of hustles so that you can turn your hobbies into hustles. And yeah, I mean, that I'm only saying the things that I did, right? Like I invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in the whiskey before I ever like could say that somebody's paying me to do this shit. Yeah. So like, yeah, I don't know if that answered your question at all, but
yeah, for sure.
But that's what I would give you advice of.
It's a good one.
That is a good one.
Ask Trey if Blue Run will ever veer into American single malts.
Scott, that's a great question. Like, if I have anything to say about it, like, hopefully, because I'm all about variety. There's probably a reason I'm not responsible for product development because I'd be like, let's try this, and we'd have no focus. I can't say yes. I know right now it is not in the will. It's not in the plans. Just because that is so far off of our existing identity that we need to be much more established before we can afford. We're not McDonald's. We can't afford to put chicken wings on the menu. If we mess that up, like we put such a big dent in our brand that we may not recover from it. Yeah. So
for sure. Dude, you imagine? Holy shit. Everybody's like, Blue Run's on the come up. Everything's going fucking great. Every new release is better than the last release.
They tanked. What happened? American single malts. Come to find out.
6 months old American single malt. And they're like, that tastes like asshole and leather, dude. That's crazy. Like,
I do love what some of the people in the space, again, like I am whiskey curious. I love trying new stuff, and there are some really good American single malts out there. There are also some single malts that should have never left.
Money on this.
I'll put money on this too.
Yeah, I heard two-time All-American.
Resume,
yeah.
I'm good, man. I don't have that background.
Can you pick any beer on your stocks? That would be first off, Belgian Devoe, the Bove, excuse me. Great name. Second, I don't know if
he's a dummy. Don't worry about him.
You don't have to compliment this guy's a fucking idiot, and we all know him. So
we love him. He's our idiot, though.
He's our idiot, dude.
If he can beat me in a wrestling match, we both deserve a barrel because we'll be winded and need all the whiskey in it.
Oh, nah, dude, you wouldn't have to get super winded. I'm out of shape, there was a time where I was strong and not good at wrestling, and now I'm also not good at wrestling and not as strong. So it's just a double negative.
It's a lose.
Oh,
yeah, someone said.
Good stuff. That's hilarious.
Fuck, man. Yeah, dude, for real though, market wise, that question made me, it just like triggered it in my mind. But that question, we were just at Jack not too long ago and talking about American Single Malt because that was their limited this year.
Yeah.
And
so good. I'm a Squire. Like I have a shrine of Jack Daniels right there. It's a bunch of stuff. I'm a huge JD fan. Even before they started doing like cool shit and they were just making Old Number 7 and Gentleman Jack. You know what I mean? Like I was like, fuck yes, this is the whiskey I can drink every day. And great story.
Gentleman Jack was like the cut your teeth. Like that's one of the good ones, man. Early on.
Now you drink it and you're like, I don't know if there's actually whiskey in there. That just tastes like flavored water.
Dude, I've had more aggressive mouthwash than Gentleman Jack, and I swear to God.
That's true. Like, Listerine will get you.
I've gargled Gentleman Jack's, followed it, and then I've gargled Listerine and been like, fuck, that shit's spicy, dude.
That's so good. That's awesome.
Yeah, Gentleman Jack was like a teeth-cutting whiskey for sure.
But Jack did their whole venture into single malt.
Yeah, and they're continuing it.
Yeah, because they tested it in like, what they say, gift shops.
The like,
they're gonna test
overseas.
It. They're gonna test it in duty free.
Duty free. That's
and
right.
So, and it's not like as special, I guess, if that's the word you want to use, but as the one that came out this year, it'll be a more like reproducible. We can make a shit ton of this, but they are testing it, and so are a lot of other. I mean, High West has High Country or whatever it's called, or there's a lot of brands like dabbling, I guess might be the correct word right now. It'll be really interesting to see if it like explodes in that direction or not with the barrel shortage and whatnot. But
yeah, I mean, there's definitely some economic drivers. Can I wrestle for a barrel? Probably not.
He's one of the biggest men I've ever met.
that is not covered in my insurance plan. So
or your contract with Blue Run, weirdly enough. So.
Yeah,
correct.
You're like, yeah, for sure. Blue Run's like, no.
Like you would sign this waiver before you say yes to that. Like, that's what I would have to do.
Yeah. Holy shit, man. Do Luke's,
Yeah, that one. What's your favorite go-to Blue Run bottle?
God, that's tough. Okay, so I'll say right now, and I had the same answer last night, so I can prove it. Every day, no matter what time of day it is, like I could, I'm not gonna lie. There's some times where it's lunchtime. I'm like, you know what? A pour would feel real good right now. It tastes real good.
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I am not gonna shy away from the fact that I am any number on the clock drinker. And so reflection, just because it's an easy proof point, right? 95, I can drink it and still go back to work and not feel like I'm lethargic or like lazy anymore. It was probably my like it's the bottle I consistently go back to. Since we've been on this call, I finished off this bad boy. And so
you did say you were.
Yeah.
That was the plan. But from my favorite, like, and then it's like my non-Blue Run bottle. God, that is even harder. That is so much harder. So I do have a rule in this room, which is called the Whiskey Den. I don't drink the same whiskey 2 times in a row. So because of that rule, very rarely am I able to go back to the same bottle. Even if I'm having the best night, the best pour ever, I'm like, all right, I got to try something else. And so non-Blue Run bottle would be really tough. I do have some bottles in here that aren't whiskey that I'm super like into, some rums and some agave spirits. And and so yeah, I don't know. I can't give you an answer to that question outside of that. I would have to drink a bunch to give you that answer.
And he's like, and I'm willing to do it. So here we go.
Right.
Next bottle. Here we go.
For science, let's figure it out.
Right. Dude,
I like that one too.
okay, real quick before you answer Lucan.
All right. Pretend I didn't
14.
bring it
I'm
up.
assuming you have or have had 13 and a half year single barrels from Blue Run.
Yeah, I have all. They're all right there.
You have. All right.
Oh
man.
yeah, I see.
All
Them.
right.
Those are
dude.
beautiful.
Yeah. All right.
He's like, yeah, I work for the company, buddy.
All right.
Well, no, but again, before I worked for the company, I spent ridiculous amounts of money. So I bought a founder set, and I, just like every other person, went after everything that I could get. So this shelf here is the non-founder set. I think I have 7 of the non-founders. Then I have the full collection, all of which are open, by the way. So anybody that's
Love
like,
that.
hey, like, don't drink your shit. There's 1,500 bottles behind me. There might be 100 that aren't open, and that's just
I'll say
because
it for you.
I got shit to
Fuck
do.
you if you say that.
I got shit to do. But Lucan, so more dated stuff coming eventually, right? It takes time. We would love to be able to put an age statement on our mainstay products. We would love to. It's a stamp. But what we're not going to do is put a 4-year or a 5-year age statement on a product, and maybe not even a 6-year. Like, we want to get it to the point where it's like, okay, cool, this is worth putting an age statement on, because now the industry standard has been 5 and 6-year-old whiskey above bottle and bond. Like, it's just been like 5-year-old whiskey, So I think we're going to try to push past that before we ever say, like, this is worth putting an age statement on.
Right.
We're always chasing stock, so that could change literally any day. But as of right now, like, I don't think we have anything that we'd put an age statement on, even if it's for other brands worth putting an age statement on.
Sure.
So what would be roughly the oldest Blue Run age-stated whiskey that Rutledge has distilled right now?
That Rutledge is distilled. So Rutledge only retired like 7 years ago. And we picked him up like 6 weeks after. And so some of the oldest whiskey he's distilled since he's not been there is like 6 years old.
Okay. And then how long have you guys been distilling at Bardstown now?
Just under 2 years. I think it was like early 21, like mid 21 when we started distilling there, like mid to late 21.
I'm assuming wildly different numbers for what you were distilling at Castle and Key to what you can do at Bardstown.
In terms of volume, yeah, absolutely. I mean, Bardstown, Castle and Key is one of the most beautiful distilleries. Very manual, very historic. Bardstown is one of the most automated distilleries in all of Kentucky, if not the world. It's like you walk up to a little screen and you push Blue Run recipe ABC 1 2 3 or whatever it is, and then shit just starts buzzing and moving, and you see, it's ridiculous. And so and that's every brand that works there. And so the capacity at Bardstown is exponentially larger than it was at Castle and Key. And so, like, if we get 1 day of runs at Bardstown, I'd have to say it's probably the equivalent to like a week at Castle and Key.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, dude. Wait, who is Rutledge distilling at Bardstown for you guys, or does Bardstown manage that, or how does that situation work?
It's collaborative. So it's Rutledge's mash bills, it's yeast, it's Shaylin, it's collaborative, but it's our team.
It's still Blue Run's team. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they obviously know how our stuff works, because in the event they need to make something happen, they can help, and they have an army of people there helping their brands. But it's our team there distilling.
That's so fucking cool, man. Dude, I'm so damn excited. Like, okay, when it got announced that this distillery was happening,
he called me in the middle of the night.
When it got announced this distillery was happening, it cost $1 gajillion. I texted Mike and I'm like, I cannot fucking wait to come to that distillery. Like, that will be so fucking cool, dude. Like, it feels to me, and people are so fucking over me, dude. I constantly talk about Blue Run, so people are like, shut the fuck up. But when like you guys are doing it correctly, and we've seen so many smaller brands start and then have to change from sourcing or have to get away from a certain thing and then go to their own distillate and kind of fuck that up, or go down like a cash grabby route or jack the fuck out of their prices when they were super low and now they're super high. And like, it feels like there's so many ways to manage, and I know none of it's easy. So I know maneuvering that path is difficult. There's a lot of decisions to be made. Watching you guys do it, though, is like, holy shit, this feels like the right path, at least, which is fucking awesome to watch. It's cool to be a part of. I don't know, man. I'm happy to like enjoy the product, honestly. Like that's it. I'm just happy that it exists, and I'm happy that I can buy it. So
yeah, I'll echo what I said earlier, man. We don't know a shit ton of stuff still. Like, we're still figuring out a lot of things, and so we'll never go on the brand. And of course, we want our whiskey to be the best. We want our bottles to be the best design. We want our experience to be the best. But we still have so much to learn, which everybody on the team's committed to that being an opportunity and not an obstacle, right?
Yeah.
Like that fact that we could still get better than what people already think we are, like, hoorah. Let's go do it.
But the cool thing about that mentality is that mentality showed at the beginning if people pay attention, but the mentality of like knowing that you can improve things rather than being like, dude, we fucking did it. We're making money. Yeah. We're good. Call it fucking coast, whatever you want to call it. But that seems like such a normal thing to do other than like, yeah, man, like these other people finished in this one thing, so we could try that. Right. But like, if the innovation is only following somebody else, it's not innovation at all, you know? And it's such a cool thing.
Yeah, Blue Run's doing it wildly different.
It's way different. And I fucking love it.
So like earlier you talked about it was like a really big thing for you to be like, oh, Rutledge just like took my note or whatever. And I think you could look at it as an entirely different thing. It was like, I think it's way bigger that you're there because Blue Run is seemingly hiring everyone that is, dude. Yeah, like they're assembling a hell of a team, man.
I say that. Like, I keep saying that.
And you to be a part of it is like insane because it's like, hey, man, that they picked you because you're really, really, really good at what you do. True. So I think that's just an accolade for you.
Well, and clearly, look at like, you know, with Chosen launching, man, the feedback on the portal, just from what I've heard, people have thought it was really fucking cool and way different, right? Which is awesome.
Too much thought, some would say.
Some would say too much thought.
Which is okay.
Like a great fucking thing.
I've never had someone be like, man, I thought you really overthink that. Like it's way too good.
Say that?
I do it
you
all the time.
You put way too much effort into that.
Yeah.
Like, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You tell me that a lot. I'm saying things like, who tells that? I'm like, I'm pretty sure.
No, people don't tell me that. I tell you that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Sean and my wife.
It's different. I don't say that. I'm going to say that to you.
Okay. Dude, I will fucking slaughter that name, and I'm so sorry because I can't pronounce normal English words, dude. And that's my bad.
I want to say it's Samaya Shah. I want to say it's Samaya Shah, like Maya.
I would imagine
we're gonna go with yours.
Yeah. Okay. When do we expect the single barrels to hit the market?
Fair question. Yeah. So the goal is to have first barrels hit the market in Q4, so like October, November, December timeframe. And a lot of that's driven again by just our bottling schedule at Bardstown. If I could put a barrel in market tomorrow, it'd be there. I can't. And so so we've got a little bit of a lead time, which is cool because it just gives me opportunity to create some really freaking awesome experiences that I can't wait to participate in. Like I'm gonna forget that I'm like supposed to be getting things accomplished in some of these things. So I have to have like I'm gonna have to set like alarms on my phone, like get back to work. You know, like
that's a fair point. I agree with Matt actually 100%.
I agree. I've never agreed with something more.
I often am very willing to admit that I'm a fucking idiot, and that's fair. And I'm willing to grow as a person because of it.
I would say so. Look, you guys are absolutely awesome. So I followed Matt along through the World Scott Whiskey Taster competition. Because again, at the end of the day, guys, I am a whiskey curious person. I'm a whiskey nerd. I follow a lot of people and learn a lot from other people. And watching him go through that process and learning about what Bardstown had going on and seeing him after the fact. First off, kudos to your weight loss journey. That is epic, dude. Like I have another friend that's gone through that the past couple of months post-COVID, or a year or so post-COVID, and I can't freaking do that. I don't have nearly the discipline to be like, you know what? I'm not going to eat what makes me happy today. But kudos to you for not only just how you've Matt fostered the community around yourself, but leaned into the fact that you can be really fucking good at you know what? Fuck that. Compliment over.
Me and Dana talked about this before.
That's for real the best
having you come on. It was like we're gonna have Trey on, and Trey knows like a lot of the like YouTube and like all the content creators and stuff like that of the Scape already.
Yeah, most of the people we talk to don't know any.
Yeah, they have no idea.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm at the end of the day, I'm a whiskey consumer, guys. Like I'm gonna drink a shit ton of whiskey. You know, that was one of the fun conversations I got to have with the brands. Like, guys, you realize that I'm going to keep drinking other things than Blue Run, and posting about them and saying how cool or not cool. And I usually don't post it that I don't like, and so if I post it, I usually like it. Just because I don't. One thing you'll never hear me do is talk bad about another brand. I've seen firsthand how hard it is to put freaking liquid in one of these bottles, even if it's only taking you a year to do. I'm not going to talk shit about anybody else's journey. Will I have opinions about stuff that's better or not better? Like for sure, but I'm not going to talk shit about anybody. But But yeah, at the end of the day, dude, I'm a consumer. I love exploring whiskeys and spirits in general, and learning from you guys. You guys touch and talk about a bunch of whiskeys that I haven't tried yet, and same thing for Matt. I love his blind samples, and a bunch of other people that have tuned in that have a community. And so yeah, and I also think it's super cool that Matt is tuned into you guys right now. Like he could have a show going on right now. And
Matt's the best.
Yeah,
Matt is.
I love that.
So
man.
Matt has been around our channel since basically we started.
Inception almost. Yeah,
it's like fucking wild, man. Matt's family, like for us. Matt's our guy, no matter what.
And that's the way it should be, man. There's so many people out there that seek information that if it's only coming from one person, nobody's going to win. And so to have each other and have this really cool community, I think it's a great question. I think it's a great place to be. Excuse me.
No, dude. Matt is one of the most beautiful human beings I've ever met in my life.
Man, so we just went to a Jack Pick with Matt. We were at a restaurant, and I had not seen Matt in the longest amount of time in person.
In person, yeah.
And he walked around the corner, and I looked over and I was like, man, that guy looks like Matt. And then he started walking out. I was like, oh shit, that is Matt. I was like, wow, good for you, dude. Look,
I forgot it was Matt 3 times at Jack Daniels, dude.
I love that, man.
That's awesome. So you guys want to answer the question, or am I answering it?
Mark K wants to know if the Bourbon Junkies are getting a Blue Run barrel or so.
Ashton Kutcher would say no.
I talked to Trey on the phone the other day. He said, fuck you guys. We do have the we got the chosen email.
Yes, sir.
The best.
You guys are in, man.
Dude, I'd say it's third best day of my life. I have 2 kids. I'm married. And I'm still putting this top 3. So, and my wife's probably in here because she messaged me recently. So there's a good chance that I sleep out here tonight, but I'm still saying top 3 days of my life, dude.
I mean, you cleaned the puke off the couch. I'd hit that up.
That's fair.
That's at least like a brownie point. But no, for sure. So I was super excited. Obviously, like Dan's a super big proponent of us, but I genuinely appreciate the content you guys put out. It's rooted in truth and comedy, and it's entertaining, and you guys are authentic. All the things that I fucking like. And so I'm genuinely interested in working with folks like you. So fuck yes, the Bourbon Junkies will have a barrel or a blend. And I hope your consumers really enjoy what you guys come up with, from your label design to the experience you guys get to participate in, or that we get to participate in. So we're gonna plan something freaking awesome for your area. And yeah, like these barrels are gonna come out in a fashion that it's not like you're gonna feel like the market's oversaturated, which has been a lot of groups' concerns. Like, hey, like, oh man, you guys are doing 50 slots. Like, do you realize how few slots 50 is?
Yeah.
1 barrel estate.
Yeah.
1 barrel estate, dude.
Jack Daniels did over 1,500 barrels last year.
Yeah.
Private barrels.
And that didn't even touch their stocks either.
Yeah. No,
correct. And so we don't have enough barrels to be able to saturate any market with any of our products, let alone individual private selected barrels. And so yeah, you're probably, as a person that's plugged into the whiskey community, going to see one and maybe another group that gets a barrel, but it's not like you're going to go to 15 stores and see a barrel at any of them.
Right.
Yeah, it's not like going to Specs and seeing all their different store picks and whatnot and being like, oh yeah, just a Blue Run sitting there.
So Specs got 1 barrel, if that puts it in perspective, and Total Wine got like 3 barrels for the country. So it's not like
that's fucking wild.
It's not gonna be a saturated thing. It's gonna be super special. We've got a couple of releases. I guess I can say this. We've got a couple of folks that we're gonna go even above and beyond and like do custom boxes for and do other custom packaging, like and stuff like that. And so there's going to be plus ups along the way and opportunities. And so it's cool. So you're going to be able to, even within the program, none of the barrels will look the same, but you're going to be able to find a variety. Even if somebody picks the exact same color labels, one might be this single barrel, one might be this 2 barrel blend. And so there's going to be so much diversity and so much opportunity for you guys, for every consumer, including myself, because I'm super excited. I've been able to taste a lot of all of the barrels and sample all the barrels that are in the program. I haven't blended any of them. I don't know what these 2 barrels will taste like together. And I don't know what this barrel will taste like compared to a barrel 50 barrels down the road, right? Like I don't have that experience with our products yet. So I'm super excited to see what folks like you guys and other people that are participating in the program explore and discover within the inventory that we have. And we have some cool stuff, like from distilleries that I've never been able to blend distillery A and distillery B stuff together. I'm like,
Sure.
Yeah.
this is gonna be fucking
So-
epic.
From the pick standpoint, would you rather someone come in and want to do a blend or just pick a barrel?
I want them to get the best product for their consumers. And because you're going to get, and I only say that because I may put 6 barrels in front of you and none of them work well together as a blend.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I don't know that yet because there's so many potential, outputs that I don't know what could be created. I know that everything that goes in could stand by itself as a good single barrel, a great single barrel. Some of them phenomenal. I was checking some inventory the other day. I was like, fuck, like these are some honey barrels. Like shit. Like I don't think I'm allowed to buy any of these, but if I could,
well, I mean that goes back to the uniqueness for each person too. So if you put out 6 in front of someone, it's a different 6 for the next group. That group might be able to get a blend. And the group before that, it was like, well, they just assumed, or everyone was like, damn, that was a honey barrel. We like that barrel. It's all so unique and creative and cool.
Yeah,
and just the way that we have to flow through inventory, like, so people ask like, hey, can I be the very first barrel pick? Like, sure, but that doesn't mean you're necessarily get the best selection because as barrels get depleted out of my program inventory, like this isn't a one and done program. Like we have to figure out what next year looks like already. And so as I deplete 5, 10, 15 barrels, like me and Shaylin are working together to add that 5, 10, 15 to the bottom of the inventory. And not because it's younger or it's we have more of it or whatever have you. It's just like we have to backfill those slots to maintain the longevity of the program. And so like you might get the oldest whiskey we have available at the bottom of the inventory once we deplete the first 15. It's just how the program's going to rotate. And so there's going to be a lot of, guys, I'm grossly excited to see what people come up with and discover in our inventory because I'm one person and I have one opinion. And to see people just like you guys that are in the whiskey know and people that have no clue, what one distillate tastes like from the other kind of go through this process. It's going to be a super cool exploratory experience for myself and everybody involved.
Yeah. I'm excited as hell, man, for real. I
Trey for Madness.
Get
Get him in there.
Trey for Madness.
One of my favorite tournaments I've seen. So thank you for that.
Holy shit, dude. Madness is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is fun.
ADHD Whiskey. Well, I now pumped up with enough confidence to go ask the wife for some of the good stuff. I'll let you know how it goes. So that's where Matt's at.
I'm assuming there's a.
And I'm back and I need to hear some more good stuff about me, please.
Matt, let us know what she poured for you. That's what is your wife pouring for you? It's so funny. All right, I'm gonna say this quietly because my wife is probably on the other side of this door. I was like, anybody that's doing a bourbon podcast on Valentine's Day is not getting late. like we're
100%, buddy.
Yeah. Correct.
100%.
Bingo. I identify as said guy.
Yeah.
This guy.
Oh shit, man.
Oh boy. Oh, that's hilarious.
True words.
Hey, look, I don't know, man. You keep going back to that Lunar. I thought Dan was a super fan, but that bottle's gonna be
the Supernova.
Supernova. Okay.
No. I just have been drinking this for the last 4 pours.
Yeah, I keep seeing him go back to it. Thank you for that, man. That's awesome. I'll ask you guys. Okay, cool. So look, X nay on the Blue Run for 30 seconds. One other brand right now that you're like, holy cow, these guys are doing some cool stuff. Non-legacy brand. No, okay, so cool. Sagamore
and Penelope.
I was gonna say Chattanooga too.
Chattanooga.
Dude, I just picked up I almost died, but again, signed the waiver. They're cat finish.
Yes. Holy shit!
I can't do this with you.
Come on, it's
amazing.
amazing.
You and Sean, I can't do it with you two.
It is so complex. Like it's one thing, and then it's another, and then it's another, and then it's another. And I like that in whiskey, dude. If I could drink bourbon every day, bourbon is supposed to taste like one particular thing. That's why it's the most regulated spirit. It's supposed to taste like something. And so when somebody comes out with something that like pushes those boundaries in America, dude, they had their cacao finished experimental thing recently too. I was like, dude, this tastes like liqueur to me. But this high malt,
I love that bottle.
It's freaking cool, man. It is.
I agree.
Doesn't like it.
I agree. It's interesting.
Give the people what they want.
It is. It's nothing else but interesting. They even sent it to us And I love Chattanooga. I'm a big Chattanooga fan myself. That bottle for me is height. I agree with complex word. I agree with interesting. I agree with all of these words.
But they got like the stuff going on with like the Bottle and Bond series. They're doing crazy cool finishes. They've got the different malts. Like I think they're in that like pushing the envelope.
I agree.
Category.
I agree.
Some are hits, some are misses.
They're one of the only distilleries that I know that has a facility exclusively dedicated to experimental.
That's cool as fuck.
Yeah.
Listen,
they're not charging $120 in a cool bottle for their experimental.
I love Chattanooga. I don't have a problem with Chat. I don't need to be sold on Chattanooga. Huge fan. Love Chattanooga. Never even been there. Never met any of them. Still fucking love them.
Okay.
Right?
Those guys are
Chattanooga
great.
rye. Chattanooga rye is a fucking monster of a rye, by the way.
Yeah,
too.
the port finish is great too. Yeah.
And then the Chattanooga Founders is one of the most impressively blended things I've seen in a minute. But that bottle you just fucking got out tastes like weird leather, dude. It's the weirdest shit. You know what I mean?
You like being wrong.
So Sean, are you generally into like whiskeys of the world, single malts, things from outside of the States?
Yeah. We have a good amount of Scotch. We've got a couple different American. Was it Westland or Westward that does the American single malt?
Both, Westward
Both
is
do.
One does the geometry bottle.
I just call one the geometry bottle because it's got cool shapes at the top.
Yeah,
that's the one that we like a lot. Okay, Westward.
They're good.
So we've had a couple different American single malts. We've had an Australian single malt or two that were
Starward.
Really good. Starward.
Yeah, they did some good stuff.
Starward.
Yeah, I got some of that.
Starward's
Yeah.
Starward's got cool bottles.
So I know I'm supposed to be here to talk about Blue Run, but guys, I can talk
for days
about this whiskey, and we have such a cool space to be in right now for as content creators that you guys are, as somebody that gets to be a part of a craft brand. There's no reason for you not to know kind of what's happening in the space. There's so much information out there. There's so many. You can go up here and you can see like a sample of whatever people are curious about, and you could just follow that. So many people are out there trying new things and pushing the envelope, and we're doing it in a way that is an intersection between tradition and evolution. But what we don't have is a finished Highland malt.
Dude,
so I can't.
Finished Tennessee High. It's the
good.
weirdest fucking whiskey. And I'm not that dude. You've had, I'm 100% sure based on the conversation we've had tonight, that you've had a whiskey that you didn't like, but you understand like why it exists and why it's interesting or why other people would like it or whatever. Just profile why it doesn't line up. That one for me is one of those profile ones where I'm like, it is interesting, it is complex, it is all those things. I just don't like the flavor profile. You know what I mean?
I won't say the brand because I don't trust brands, but there's a brand that I'm like, I don't know what you guys are putting in this bottle. Like I honestly have no clue what you did to get to this point, but it's not working. But other people like it. Other people drink it. I'm like, guys, did you even try? And if you did try, don't tell anyone. Like, do not advertise that. Just lie. Just be like, no. This is what we had. We're trying still, but don't tell anybody.
We tried our best.
No. Don't tell people that, because if they think you tried your best and that's what you came up with, I promise you they'll never buy anything else you do.
That's a good point.
There you go. So do you drink Irish at all?
Oh, dude, I just brought.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, this is one that
I'll just see myself out. You guys. Oh,
hey,
no way.
Shit.
I just brought home the latest Middleton. I'm a big Irish fan. I love whiskey in general, all over the place.
Here we go.
And so yeah, I just brought home the newest very rare, and then I've got the Irishman Astrin.
Right now.
Good man. And I just brought home Red Spot for the first time. I've tried it at a bar, but I've never owned a bottle, and so I brought home Red Spot and
delicious.
Like, dude. Let's go. I'm gonna have a pour with you.
That was a gift from Dan and Julie.
Thank
you, Dan and Julie.
Irish is just not it, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not
I was gonna say that's the one I think we disagree on the most.
I don't know why
either.
Here, hold on. Have you had Blue Spot?
Yeah, I have blue, gold, yellow, green.
Blue is the one. Spots. Blue is the only spot that's worth drinking ever.
Okay, you're wrong on that one. You like the finished green spots too.
Finished green spots are fucking awesome.
Yeah,
those are cool. The fact that they did those and kind of snuck up, like America, we didn't know any. We just they popped up and went, what is this? It's just like the Octomore series that landed in the States that we usually didn't get because of COVID. And I'm like, okay, let's go.
Dude, Octomore is fucking beautifully phenomenal. Holy shit.
I think that's what you didn't like was it you didn't like Arbeck's Supernova, Hypernova.
Just a letdown
is Supernova this year or was Hypernova this year?
Hypernova. I saw you guys' review where you didn't care for that.
It's fine.
It was disappointing for the hype.
Yes, 100%. Well, they did it. There's both from Arbeck as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So ADHD was Matt. I was gonna say your name like I don't know your actual name. Rare Stash. I don't know if that's a brand. I've never heard of Rare Stash, or if you're asking me like what's
a brand, I think.
No,
Rare that's Rare Character. No, that's
Rare Hair.
Rare Hair.
No, I have. I have their Playboy release, and I have the Código. Those are both well done. Overpriced, or not overpriced, expensive.
Yeah.
Well done. Like you get a membership to some private sex club that I'm not signing up for, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, Rare Stash was the Dustin Poirier.
Yes, it was
whiskey
from some random state.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but you just call it like Louisiana whiskey, and people were like, "This is not good,
dude." Okay, did you pour the Irish whiskey? Is that what you just poured?
Of course I did. There's no way in hell I'm gonna let Sean drink by himself. I just cracked it. I literally just pulled the plastic off this bottle.
Cheers, sir.
Irish whiskey just hit wrong after bourbon is the problem. Like,
no, it's because you have a terrible mental about it.
Yeah, because it tastes simple and silly after bourbon. So I
silly.
The thing is I actually like a lot of scotch, like a shit. Like I mainly really like heavily peated scotch or relatively heavily peated scotch a lot, but there's this weird disconnect where if I have anything and then have Irish, I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with that? Like, I don't know why.
So I think you like to feel your whiskey just as much as you taste it. Is
100%. Yeah.
Right. Irish whiskey, Japanese whiskey, or most Asian generated whiskeys in general, it is much more about tasting than feeling.
Sure.
It is about the quote unquote art more than the terroir and like where it's tradition and art and it's beauty. When I describe whiskey from Ireland or Asia, like that is very beautiful whiskey. I don't ever say that about any fucking scotch or bourbon.
Right? Yeah, 100%.
Like,
okay,
like we are.
Yeah, you can't say that about Octomore as it's just mouth effing you.
All of our whiskey has hair on it. These are like pristine, nice, clean, well shaved. Like the Irish whiskey, Japanese whiskey is very pretty and delicate. And so, yeah, for sure, if you don't like those things and you have it after a bourbon, it's going to taste like watered down sweet tea.
Yeah.
And so, but for me, I appreciate the delicacy and the nuances of what they're able to accomplish without the proof, which is hard to do. It is really hard to do.
Which is why Blue Spot's so fucking good because it's higher proof.
Yeah.
Now, here's the other thing, though, in regards to what you're saying. Hibiki Harmony in the morning's undefeated, though.
Oh, morning whiskey.
Like Hibiki Japanese whiskey in the good Japanese whiskey early is exactly where it's at, though. Because it does a little that it tracks.
Steak and eggs.
In the morning, I'm not trying to get punched in the face. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The Hakushu 17, like those are really 18. Like I've got.
Oh, we only have like 2 Japanese whiskeys here.
Oh, so I've got whiskey from every freaking where. Because I am whiskey curious. If you're like, hey, I made this whiskey in my basement, I'm like, hell yeah, how much is it? Can I have one? I'm like, is it legal? Cool. Can I have some? And usually I don't ask if it's legal. I just feel like we're online, so I have to say that. But
yeah. Can I legally this above board?
Am I gonna go blind if I drink this?
Yeah.
No? All right.
And if not, like how like astigmatism blind or like I can't see shit blind because something.
I mean, I'll power through that first one.
Matt says Japanese is like one of those restaurants that give you tiny plate. Tapas is what he means.
Yeah.
Matt, I can't know tapas and you don't. There's no fucking way. And then he said, bourbon's at Las Vegas, all you can eat buffet.
Let's go. Yeah, true. I mean, which is crazy because, again, bourbon is the most regulated consumable in the country.
Yeah.
Like, aspirin doesn't jump through as many hoops as bourbon does.
What doesn't?
Aspirin.
What?
They're aspirin, like
is that
the medicine.
real?
I would assume so, yeah.
I promise you, there are more stipulations to make bourbon than there are to make aspirin. I promise you.
100% should have just started a fucking pharmaceutical company, dude.
No.
Yep.
No
100%.
shouldn't. No,
Yep,
no shouldn't.
Nope.
If you want to talk about markups, you think my $200 whiskey is bad? Let's.
Oh yeah,
dude.
Was it
Pharmaceuticals
Martin
are
Schreckle
wild.
or whatever? That guy that bought whatever. Was it like the HIV drug or whatever? He bought the company that made it and then marked everything up like 500%.
No,
thousands,
percent.
whatever.
Yeah,
he ended up in prison and shit for that. And people were like,
Shocking.
yeah, not cool, man.
Way to be a piece of shit. Come to find out,
Good. Good.
Right?
No empathy for that guy.
Fuck that guy.
Insulin was
I'd rather not. He probably has HIV. No offense to people
the patent for insulin was sold for like $1. So it was supposed to be like readily available for people because it was like life-saving medicine. Yeah. And then people were like, that's cool. How about we just sell it for a lot?
Yeah. It's the same with like EpiPens. EpiPens are like that.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, I'm also super glad that I didn't wear my same Whiskey Helps Grunt Style shirt tonight. I have it, but it's in all black.
Oh, we could have matched, dude.
I'm all for matching outfits, but on Valentine's Day, that's a little suspect.
Yeah. It would be way better if I had a blue run hat and you had this shirt. You know what I'm saying?
If you guys don't have hats, like that's an easy fix.
I'm not a hat guy. Sean's a hat guy.
Okay. I have a baby head though.
I look even worse when I wear hats. So.
They're all adjustable. We got you.
There you go.
Nick Shelley says, what are your home bar business hours?
Look, if I'm drinking, we're drinking. Let's do it. It's game on.
Also, me and Dan had asked, before you were on here, where are you located geographically? It was like
you want like a home address here?
No, I'm just saying like time zone wise, state maybe. I don't know. Because me and Dan were like, we told him 8. We never told him like.
Oh yeah, Eastern or North. I emailed you Eastern or not. I just said 8, man. I don't know if I said the right thing.
So my longitude and latitude, I'm just playing. But no, I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. I live in Charlotte. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's good for me. Yeah, I love it here, man. So I'm on the East Coast. Charlotte's great. I can get anywhere. I'm a handful of minutes from the airport. So I'm not here a ton. So people ask my home bar hours, dude. If you can catch me in this room, freaking like let's go. This is one of my happy places. This room, but I travel quite a bit. I was on. I think the final tally was like 233 planes last year. And so, yeah. So my goal this year is if I can be on a less than 150 planes this year, like my marriage stands a chance. I'm not a terrible father.
Right.
And I'll be able to live to see 5 years from now.
Yeah. Fair point. Those are all very important things.
Big time.
Clean Banana said, Pharma Bro might be the dirtiest banana of all time. It says Clean Banana.
What the fuck?
You know what, Clean Banana? I think we all fucking agree here. So,
yeah, we'll stay whiskey bros.
Never thought a banana that was clean would tell me that, but
what's my life become?
You know what? Are bananas technically dirty because they're inside the peel? Like a banana can never really be dirty because it has the peel to protect it.
What if the peel accidentally unseals because it got squished? And then
you just get a new banana.
Well, no, but dirty banana could exist in said scenario.
Okay.
If you squish a banana, the peel accordions.
Or if you just peel it and then drop it. Same thing.
Yeah. No, I mean.
Well, we're not talking doing things intentionally here. You don't get a dirty banana on purpose.
Okay.
You only get dirty bananas on accident, buddy. It's the only...
I feel like we're really walking a line here.
There's a lot of overlap. A lot of overlap.
Yes or no?
Is water wet?
Soap can be dirty. Poop on a piece of soap, dude. I'm not touching it.
All right, we're good here.
I'm not.
I'm out.
I'm not, dude. And I want, you know what?
This is what we've come to.
Yeah, I ended that conversation.
This is so cool. Guys, seriously, don't kick me off. I do before we have to get out of here. Thank you guys, genuinely. I don't say this lightly, and there have been some people that have reached out. There's guys, look, can we just figure this out over email? But you guys are some people that I respect and I like, and haven't had the chance to get to know you yet. And hopefully I do. And you guys get to hang out with us. And I get to hang out with you guys. And super excited to see what you guys come up with in your barrel selection. And yeah, I mean, I said this once and I'll say it probably 1,000 more times. I would not have the opportunity to do what I'm doing for Blue Run without people like you guys who have shared information on the brand on your channels to your larger audiences than we have. Like, we're still new. We're still younger. You guys have been doing Bourbon Junkies longer than we've been doing whiskey. And so we appreciate folks coming alongside the brand, helping us navigate this saturated space. Like there's a lot of people trying to vie for your attention right now. And so we appreciate you guys specifically for just giving us a chance, an honest, a fair chance, sharing information about our brand and being honest with us about the things that maybe not land well because we don't have all the answers and we're trying to figure it out. So this has been one of the more fun lives that I got to be on since being on the team. So thank you guys, seriously.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here, man. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah. No, thank you. You guys are busy as hell, and we appreciate you coming on and hanging out and shooting the shit with us and putting up with our bullshit on top of.
After hearing that last statistic, I'm surprised you're not on a plane right now. Actually,
tomorrow we're drinking Irish too, so that makes me happy. So look,
are you guys gonna put real quick? We will shut it down here pretty soon. It's 10. So
no, look, I'm chilling. You're fine. We're good.
I have a question. Yeah. Are you guys going to eventually, in the semi-near future, just move distribution to Michigan as well?
Yeah, the goal. Look, we want to be in every market we can, right?
Okay.
One of the biggest barriers to doing that is that even for our existing distributors, so we have a very similar distribution model that Sazerac is going to, right? They're leaving one distributor nationally and they're picking distributors based on market. We have the same, like that's our model from day one.
Okay.
What we can't do is ask a distributor to put us in a bunch of markets before we can satisfy a few.
Yeah.
And so now this year we have goals to be able to expand. And so in short, yes, my hope is that by the end of the year, and I don't run our sales or marketing team. And so, this isn't gospel, but I know this is what's been communicated to the team. Our hope is by the end of the year, we're in every major market, and Michigan, in comparison to like a Dakota, is absolutely a major market for us. And so we hope to be there in 2023 in some way, shape, or fashion.
So
you got to go north. That's where all the alcoholics are at.
No, dude, come to find out, Texas. Lots of alcoholics in Texas.
Wisconsin.
Well, the Midwest, snows here, dude. All we have to do is drink. We got. We got alcohol.
We don't see the sun for 6 months here in Michigan.
We got
might as well drink.
Sleds, and whiskey.
Yeah.
That's all.
My wife is from Alaska, so like Alaska's a decent market. My wife is from Alaska, so we spend a good bit of time in Alaska, and it's a great market, but we don't have whiskey there yet because it's hard to get to.
How did you guys meet?
College.
That's a fun story. Yeah, this one time at banquet in college. Yeah, seriously, true story.
Really? Shit.
Swear to God, yeah.
Damn.
So
okay. So the reason I asked the Michigan question is
because you live in Michigan.
Oh my gosh, that would save me time and money.
Okay,
that wasn't why. Holy shit. Okay. No, the reason is because we do like a meetup every year. And we'd love for you guys to come to it at some point in time. We can't have like alcohol. The alcohol has to be distributed in the state of Michigan for like the brand to serve alcohol at the event.
Yeah.
But obviously, like without a doubt, you're more than welcome. And I can shoot you like the information. But it's in like really early August is our event. And it's this group. It's our community. It's fucking hanging out and drinking whiskey and having a damn good time. And that's pretty much it. So
seriously, please do send me the information.
Yeah, we'll do, man.
Yeah.
We want to be there. And so if we can, we absolutely will. We absolutely will.
Yeah, we'll get you the information for that. And then people can, bother you about getting Blue Run at that event. And then yeah, dude, we'll do that. But no, for real, dude, thank you for being on. Honestly, it's Mike has been on, dude. Everybody from Blue Run, and I know not everybody gets, it's like different for everybody, right? From a consumer standpoint, if Sean and I never started a YouTube channel and we just walked into a store from time to time, bought whiskey off a shelf, watched a YouTube channel from now and then, like the interactions are different. And when we say like we've met people and those people are great people or they're awesome or we've talked to them and they're great behind the brand and that part's not public, it's really hard to get it to come across. Why the fuck? Dude, why do you guys like support this brand so heavy when we don't know the people behind it? But then we do, right? And we're like, well, this is why, man. They're fucking awesome, right? So we appreciate you coming on and hanging out. Mike was like, you got to get Trey on. Like he's got to. If somebody's gonna come on, Trey's got to come on. It'll be a blast. It'll be a good time. So thank you for spending your time with us and giving us
on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, and not having sex for us.
Hey, team sport, team effort. Like we're all gonna get not late. Let's all get not late together. But Sean, what do you? Before you kick me off, what do you like about this Middleton?
Not good, man.
Well, no, fuck that. Like we're talking about it. It's so nice. It's such a pretty whiskey.
And my whiskey. All right, cool. I also like the aged in order that you're drinking out of.
Dude, this glass is so awesome. Like before I was a part of the brand, like this was the sexiest thing we could have did with our cash release in 21 or 20. Yeah, 21 is like figure out a way to get these glasses a part of our brand.
Yeah.
Aged in order, dude. Like I said, I travel a lot. I travel with a travel set everywhere. I take this glass. I had talked to so many people. Like, it's so great to be able to take whiskey with me, but I don't want to drink it out of a plastic cup or a tin cup or a metal cup because that absolutely tastes different. So when they came out with their traveler decanter or their traveler set and then the minis, dude, game changer. Like I get to take stuff from here with me everywhere I go, and it's such a cool thing. So yeah, huge fan of Aged Nor. Shout out to them.
Aged Nor's the fucking best ever.
Yeah, they're great guys over there too.
They're the fucking best, dude. That Middleton is so fucking tropical. It's insane.
It's super sweet.
Holy shit.
Yeah. You should like this. This is almost fat guy whiskey.
I don't dislike that one.
Is.
I'll give you that.
Thank God you like this. The Middleton, very rare.
The one, yeah. Super
There's like this
available.
fun, especially after the bourbon. There's just like this great like guava note to it. Like a super green guava note. Like it's and it probably doesn't taste as sweet as it would if we didn't have a bunch of like rich bourbon before it. But it's so nice. It's full on guava. It like if you step off a plane in Hawaii and they put that lay over you, this is probably what it feels like. You know what I mean? Like this.
Okay, now here's the thing. If they put a lay on me and serve me that, I'd be like, fuck yeah, this shit's amazing. Yeah, I do agree. It's an experience-based thing, dude. You're right.
It's all about experience. Yeah, it's all about experience. So
this is why you're curating fucking experiences, dude. Holy shit.
Like I'm here to have a good time.
Realistically, Dan's just bougie about things. It just has to cost money.
I don't like cheap whiskey generally.
You don't like cheap Irish.
Yeah, that's true.
It's either got to be hard to get or expensive.
I do like a Compass Box had like a Glasgow blend that was like $50. That was good. So it's just
you like Wee Beastie.
Well, yeah, I do like Wee Beastie. What'd you say?
Good. If you guys are ever in Charlotte, open invite, come through.
Thanks,
and I'm willing to bet that I could put sub $50 still available whiskey in front of you that you'd be like, oh, I love this. I'm
gonna take you up on that bet.
So I have a sister-in-law in Wilmington, so we fly out of Charlotte when we go see her.
All right, so come through, please.
I'm gonna take you up on that bet.
I hope so.
Sub $50 whiskey.
Sub 50.
Oh, sub 50. Sub 50. You can buy it every day, but we overlook it because we're chasing new. We genuinely like we are. Like I could put whiskey in front of you that is just common, and so we don't go back to it very regularly. And like that's one of those things. There is still some really great freaking whiskey out there. Sub $50. Sure. Like I'll give you an inside scoop. So this bottle right here, Old Soul, from Jackson, Mississippi, $42, 6.5, 7-year-old MGP, aged in Jackson, Mississippi. If I put that in front of you blind, you'd be like, "Damn, that's good whiskey."
No,
like,
okay. Here's the thing. I'm with you on this. I'm with you on bourbon 100%. Because both of us in theory would agree in the bourbon category for sure.
Yeah.
It's when it gets to wheaters and Irish whiskey. Clearly, the Irish. Well, the thing is, dude, there's a Redbreast 27 back there, and I had it blind. I'm like, that's fucking awful, man.
Yeah, he hated it.
No, you don't have to trust me. You don't have to trust me anymore. And I know I just lost my blue run pick, motherfucker, dude. Wait, this is the end.
I can't remember like what you called it, but you're like, this is. I think the word heinous was said.
I had it blind, and I said, I don't know why people would drink that. Something along those lines, dude.
Daniel. I'm taking my hat off. This is unhealthy.
I know. I don't feel good about it. I don't. I'm not proud of it. You know, it's none of those
and things. That checks both your boxes. That's hard to get and expensive, and you still don't like it. Like,
dude, that was actual blind. If Sean would have given me like one of the green spot finish ones, that's like $80 to $100, I would have picked it over the Redbreast 27, like without a doubt. It wouldn't even have been close either. Yeah, dude.
That's Dan's palate.
We don't have to listen, but my I'm Sean. We compete in Matt Madness. I make it pretty far every year. Sean doesn't. I don't know.
We'll see what happens this year.
But I'm
riding. I'm doing well.
Did okay.
Sean, that Sean, that is concerning. That your co-host doesn't like Redbreast. That is one of the most decadent and beautifully blended age-shaded whiskeys I've ever tasted.
Holy shit, that's crazy how far off you and I are on the same whiskey.
You liked was it like the Redbreast?
Oh, there was
the
like a
Dream
there was like a
Cask or
Redbreast
whatever?
Dream Cask or some shit.
There's a couple. You have the Kentucky. Have you tried the new Kentucky Oak Cask?
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay, that one is like the bourbon drinker's Irish because it's super caramel. It's super vanilla and caramel forward. It's hot in comparison to everything else they put out.
You like it?
It's not. It's not hot like if you drink a lot of whiskeys.
Right.
If you only drink Redbreast, it drinks much hotter at the same time. A lot of the stuff, even their cask strength stuff. Gosh, that like I didn't realize I had a heart murmur until you said Redbreast 27 was disappointing to me.
Yeah, right over
Dude,
there.
you know what the worst part is? Like the whole time I'm drinking it, I'm like, I don't know what the hell this could even possibly be. I can't believe it tastes like this, whatever it is. And then we pulled it out and it was like
a $600 bottle Irish 27-year-old whiskey
like
in Ruby forecast.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yep.
Beautifully presented, beautifully blended, beautifully aged.
It's something.
Wow.
Wait.
It's just, dude, Tommy thinks he's gonna steal a 27. Oh yeah, Tommy is 4 Sean's. So
he's big man.
I'd say he's got old style beer in his profile picture.
Oh,
that's my man. My man is cornbread fed and not playing around.
100%.
I mean, that's Tommy to a T.
You know when you meet somebody and you shake their hand, you're like, oh, you were a fucking mason for 30 years.
Brick mason for sure. It was like 2 of my hands.
Dude, I have big hands. Tommy's hands enveloped my hand like it was a child's, and I'm like, holy shit. Dude.
I'm pretty sure he touched around my hand. Was like, aw.
He's like a Viking. He's not. He's like 74 though.
Oh, his people for sure invaded countries.
I am going to put disclaimers out there before any of you people meet me in person. I am not a large man. I'm 5'4" and 155 pounds on a good day. So
it might be closer on the wrestling than I thought.
Do not cast a shadow over me. No, that's all I'll say. Yeah,
you got like 100 pounds on, man.
Technique comes into play.
Oh, it's gonna be technique.
I don't have it.
I'm trying to gas you up to make this happen.
I'm not stupid. No, I've been there.
I've been there. That's funny. Dude. But yeah, no, I'm not. I am a lot shorter in person, even though I probably look short in my pictures too.
Fuck, man.
I mean, Aaron's like 5'5", so
yeah. No, I'm not a small man, but I also am not trained in any fucking wrestling, jiu-jitsu, fighting, nothing. Jack shit, actually. So I can drink whiskey
and
as long as
I'm starting to think that you're not trained in like having a decent palate either for this Jack.
I'm so good.
Hey, there's 2 of us though. We'll figure it out.
To Irish though. It's specific to Irish.
What do you have against the Irish? They're so peaceful.
That's okay. Now I would love to visit Ireland, and if they ask me, I'm going to tell them that it's the best whiskey I've ever had.
No, you
better, because if not, it is an island, and your ass better be able to swim.
They drove the snake from that continent once, so get you out of there too.
Oh my gosh,
cool. That's so funny. This is cool, man. You guys have a great audience. I'm so jealous that Matt tuned into your live. That's super cool. And
Matt's
I'm like, Matt, don't you have other shit to do tonight? Obviously not, but
no, he gotta get shut down. We know the answer.
Yeah. Matt asked to do other stuff, and he was told no, and he came.
None of us do. But dude, I'm super excited to see you guys soon for sure. We've got some fun stuff planned that we're gonna invite as many people to as possible and a bunch of the right people. The live draft day is gonna be one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
So people have asked, like, hey, if I get to come to one thing, that's not a barrel selection, what do I come to? 100% is the gala at the end of November. That is going to be a roller coaster of a fun event. We've got some really touching moments that are like, I'm going to just stand behind curtains so I don't cry in public. And then we have some really freaking like party moments, like rager party moments, and all in the same 2 or 3 hour span. The live stream, what my hope is for draft day on March 23rd is that folks like you guys communicate to your audience that, guys, look, we got to pick. We're going to be announced during this day, not as a part of the 16 selections, but there's going to be, a ticker timeline at the bottom of the stream. We're going to have all the things kind of showcasing who's already involved.
Sure.
And we want you guys to advocate for these brands, because at some point in time, we're all going to be hanging out together.
Right.
That's the goal.
Right.
And
yeah.
So, and so it's going to be super cool, man. I'm jealous of the guys that get to participate in it, because, candidly, you don't have to do any of the work. You could just have a great time.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
And like, I'm up at 3:00 in the morning, figuring out emails, making sure websites go live, like negotiating with people across the country, across the world about pieces that we need to make sure happen in time. And the private barrel program is as intense as it is 33% of what I'm responsible for right now. So we've got a lot of really cool things coming, and the team, everybody on the team is working really, really hard, like really, really, really hard to make sure that we don't get this wrong.
You won't.
You know what I mean?
Here's the thing, man. There's nothing else.
The Avengers
no fucking
assemble.
way that this is the first thing. There's no way. And
Yeah.
I refuse to fucking believe it. I don't even believe that it's one of the possibilities. The portal was a great fucking idea, executed incredibly well. I went and played with it. It's fucking awesome. I didn't submit anything. I didn't want to fuck anything up, but I did go and play with it.
No, please do. You have to submit for your pick. We need to know your label color, so go submit.
Dude, here's the thing. I made like 12 label colors earlier, and I was
Let's go.
like, the purple one's super fun. I don't know why I got super drawn into the purple one. I made a lot of shit purple today.
I don't think enough people are going to pick the purple one. The perfect season purple.
That
I don't
purple's
think a
cool
lot
as
of.
fuck.
I think it's going to pop really, really well,
Yeah.
because we don't have a butterfly that looks like it, and I get samples of butterflies next week, I want to say.
Okay.
And I think that's going to be the one that catches my eye the most.
Dude,
So-
the purple on the site, I play with I play with the blues, I play with the red and black a little bit, and then I play with the purple, and I was like, the purple's fucking great, dude. But Matt said his is purple and gold. I don't know. There's something. I mean,
Matt,
that's
so I
all
was-
like destiny.
So, dude, look, I went to East Carolina, so we're the Pirates, and so purple and gold is our mascot. And I'm like, if I could pick a barrel, it'd be purple and gold. Not gonna lie.
Yeah,
purple,
that's
purple,
fair.
gold, and black, or purple, gold, and white, because that was our best uniforms were those colors.
That's cool. But no, man, I'm looking forward to meeting and hanging out in person.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the
We drink
future.
Irish whiskey until the end. That
We're
is
not
wrong.
drinking Irish whiskey if we get together. I'm looking forward to fucking the future Blue Run. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to the single barrel. The whole fucking experience, the program itself is really cool and very different, which is awesome, man. And it shows a lot of time has been spent. It shows that a lot of like actual intention and care went into it. So you guys have been fucking killing it, and I expect that that's exactly what will happen in the future. But
Thank you guys, seriously.
no, man.
Yeah, thank you so much
Thanks
for
coming on, buddy.
making some time
Appreciate
for
it.
us and coming on tonight.
And everybody that was in chat tonight, thanks for being here. And then if you were
yeah.
both, fuck yourself, dude. You know what I mean?
If you're that one person.
But
That's
no,
nice.
man. Thank you
Right
again,
on.
buddy. I appreciate it.
Of course, man. You guys keep doing what you're doing. Can't wait to meet you. Can't wait to drink with you.
Yeah,
and thanks to all the guys that support you guys. And so we'll talk soon. And you guys got a barrel coming. So fuck
Hell
yes.
yeah, dude.
Cheers, buddy.
You know what? Hell yeah, buddy. We don't need
Let's
Irish
go.
whiskey where we're going.
Oh,
No, I thought you had the Irish. I wasn't going to cheers you.
That's awesome. That is so
Just got
awesome.
things to do tonight. What?
Oh, me too. And it's not Valentine's Day love. Cheers, everybody.
Right on. All right, guys. You guys have a good night. We'll talk soon.